Good afternoon, the moment you've been waiting for many, many weeks. It has arrived. Craftalong is here for a Sunday afternoon with the lovely Lesley.
Hello.
Hello, good
Hi,
to see
everybody.
you. This is only the second ever Craftalong that we've done. And just for anyone that's not sure what a Craftalong is all about, Lesley, explain what we're going to be doing.
We're going to be doing this afternoon. Most people, hopefully, that are Craftalong this afternoon will have bought the kit already. This is it, which includes stamps and papers and all sorts of wonderful things, which you can still buy if you want to today, because this will be on rewind and it will be kept up on the Ochanda website. So you can always craft along later on.
So watch live, but also then watch it back if you haven't got the kit already. The brushes, the papers, the stamps, of course, that you're famous for, paints as well. All of this, we'll put that up on the screen during the show. And also, can I just let you know, we've got two very special guests as well. Christine and Kim are joining us, and they've been handpicked from our audience.
They won a competition, actually.
Yeah. Now, they won the competition to come here this afternoon. Hello, ladies. Give us a wave. We'll be over with you in a second or so. And I'm joining in too for Miss Inns.
Yes, you are.
So I'm the pupil.
Going to get you stamping too.
Absolutely. And just to let you know that we've also got a prize draw in the show as well. Bearing in mind it's our family favourites event. If you buy anything during this 2 hours, anything at all, small or large, doesn't matter, you'll be in the draw to win yourself a couple of A5 sets of Chocolate Baroque stamps. So we'll show you that a bit later on. So lots to look forward to. Now, the website has got not only this big bundle, but also it's got all other things that we might be using in the show as well, and then we'll crack on with our craft along. So have a little look at hachanda.com, and we'd love to get you involved in the show today as well. It's all about, it's all about you getting involved and getting interactive with us. Send us emails, send us maybe pictures of you and your friends sat in front of the telly crafting along with us. We'd just love to hear from you, and then we can share your photographs and your thoughts with everybody this afternoon. Right, Kim and Christine, good to see you. This is Christine, this is Kim. Hello. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations on winning.
Thank you.
And tell us a little bit about yourself, Christine. You've come quite a way to be with us, haven't you?
Yeah, well, my husband and I drove down from Edinburgh last night.
Wow.
I crafted for too many ideas to admit to, I suspect. And like Kim, I get great enjoyment from it, and relaxation and inspiration from people like Lesley. So I'm really, really thrilled to be one of the crafters chosen.
So you've come all the way from Edinburgh. Kim, you've come all the way from...
all the way from Peterborough.
About 10 miles that way.
Yeah, about 10 miles that direction. Yeah.
You two didn't know each other before?
No, not at all. No.
But you've got to know each other quite well.
Yes, we pulled up outside at the same time. So.
And what's your sort of crafting? What do you like to do?
Stamping primarily, but I like mixed media and getting grungy and all of that sort of stuff. So that's why.
And Christine, what's your type?
Die cutting I started off with really primarily, but now into stamping and mixed media in a big way too.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Well, I'm looking forward to this 2 hours because it's nice to be on this side of it rather than on the presenting side of it. So over to you.
All right. Okay, so we have all got a kit, I hope. Dave, this is probably the first time you've seen your kit in a box rather than over there. Please, can you just show? I sat and cut all Dave's stamps out for him last night.
You're a star. You did a better job than I would have done anyway. Thank you for that.
So, if you want to just pop those, or wherever you want to, Dave, where you got your stamps.
That's fine.
So, in your box, this is your kit that everybody has got at home. And in your box, you have got your paints, You have got your brushes, You have got your tags, your papers, and also you've got your transfers. So if you want to get everything out of your box.
Now, hundreds of these sold before the show, so we're going to have a big audience this afternoon, I know, crafting along with Lesley and Christine and Kim and myself. So that's everything. Okay,
so then, now this afternoon we're going to be doing what I would say is a whole load of things with techniques based. We're going to be doing some projects as well too, but we also want to give you some choice about what you're actually going to end up with. So to start with, we're going to have to start some projects that are going to need drying time. Because if you're working with paints and if you're working with mediums, as you all know, they don't just dry instantly. So we're going to be starting to do something with both of these tags. So can I just say to start with, if you've got your acrylic tags, if you'd like to get them out of your bag, I have got mine set up behind me and not actually where I am.
So I've got two shaped ones.
So you've got two shaped ones. Now the long rectangular one, this is your acrylic block for stamping.
Oh, great.
So if you'd like to peel off the actual plastic, I know Christine and Kim already have. If you want to peel out of both sides, Dave, that becomes your acrylic block for your stamping this afternoon.
You've got help.
You also have your two acrylic tags, There is one project that you need to set this aside for that we're all going to be doing. And there is a choice of projects to do with the second one, because you may or may not have bought some of the extra mediums and things that we have on the show. which is the Deco Art Transfer Medium Kit, which is available on the website today, which you may, after seeing this, may think, oh, I might want to play with that one. So, as I say, I'll be showing you very shortly which 2 projects, and then you choose which of the 2 you want to do. Okay?
Okay, yep, good.
These, again, have all been cut for us, and they also have the plastic on. Now, when we're going to be doing any work today, we only take the plastic off the side we're working on. And the other side is the big reveal afterwards, because we do everything in reverse when we're working on acrylic.
Oh, right.
So you don't actually see what you're doing until we get to the end. So hopefully you're going to have a big, ooh, wow, when you finish at the end.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Okay. Right, sorry, I just lost my top back, excuse me. I think I sat on my way when I sat down. That's it, I'm okay.
It pops out when you least expect it.
It does, doesn't it? Okay. So you had
the
lots of goodies in your box. So you had papers and you had the tags and all sorts of other lovely things. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the first 2 projects that we're going to do with the tag, okay? And this is where you decide whether you want to do the one or the other. This is the first one, okay? And this one uses the papers that are in your box, and you can choose which paper you use.
Right.
And it's going to use the transfer medium. Okay, so that one, you chose to do that one.
So if you haven't got the transfer medium at home, record this.
Record this, okay?
It is on the website though, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's correct, yeah. Record this because you'll be able to do it later on, okay? The other one is this one here, and this one uses a crackle medium in your box, and it uses some of the paint. So you need to decide yourself which you want to do, whether you want to do the red one or the patterned one, okay?
Okay.
We're actually going to be doing both, so you can obviously see how to do both.
Right.
And we're going to start with the patterned one because that's the one that's probably going to take the longest to dry.
Do we take the backing off the tag then?
Yeah, just one off though.
Just one
Just take
side.
the backing off one. And this is probably the hardest thing you're going to do at home today, ladies and gentlemen, because these have been specially made so that they're protected, so that they won't scratch, and they will have arrived to you in a pristine condition. And I timed myself the other day trying to get one of these off.
Have
It
you done
actually
yours,
took me
Christine?
3 minutes.
Yeah.
Mine are done.
Yep.
Yours is
Of course,
done.
it's
Good.
live,
Well
isn't
done.
it? So,
Thank you.
We're all right, we're ready.
oh, good.
Hurry up, Lesley. Come on.
Teacher,
Come on,
isn't it? But I wanted to show you live. I mean, everything is as well. I hope this afternoon as well, if you've got friends round or if you're crafting yourself, please, if you want to email in with any questions, please do so.
Yeah.
Also, we would love some photographs too of seeing you crafting along with us.
That would be really cool, actually.
Wouldn't it?
Quite surreal.
Yeah. Oh,
Email
by the way,
address is
as
down
well,
there.
we're going to have tea and biscuits in the middle, so if you fancy tea and biscuits as well, join us.
Your husband is well trained.
Don't
all
tell
I'm saying.
people that. Okay, so you've taken the backing off your first tag. Okay, right. So we're now going to be working with the transfer medium. Okay, now I'm on overhead, so if I lay it down that way, can we see that transfer medium okay? Right, this is a fantastically huge pot of 8 fluid ounces, 236 ml. And you only need the smallest amount. You don't need to slather it on. It's fantastic stuff. It also comes with a couple of friends, which is the Deco Art Decoupage, or Decoupage as it's called. And then its other friend is the matte medium. Okay. Now, we had a little bit of a, at the end, people have bought a lot of this, and I seem to have managed to buy everybody out of everything. So, this matte medium has been replaced in the extended, the next kit that people order, with a premium acrylic medium. It's the same product, it will do exactly the same stuff.
Okay.
So if yours comes in a tube as opposed to in the pot, don't worry, it will still do everything. Okay, they're all special in their own way, and I'll explain as we're going through the afternoon what they all do. But to start with, we're going to use our American Decor Transfer. Okay, and you've got 3 brushes. Use your widest brush because you want to paint this on very, very quickly and evenly.
The one that's got number 18 on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we're going to do. The next thing you need to pick up is you need to choose one of your papers that you're going to use. I suggest one of the 4 patterned ones, but you choose which one of 4 that you're going to use.
Which one are you going to go for, Christine?
Oh, I
How
don't know
about you,
yet.
Kim? What do
I
you think?
think
You're going to go
like
with
that
the
one.
oranges, okay?
I'm going to go for that one.
Oh.
Big reds.
I think
Well,
I'll
there's
go for
4
nice
of us, so I
though.
tell you what, why don't we all do one different?
I'll
So
go for
why
the
don't you choose
butterfly.
instead? You're going for the butterfly.
Yeah.
Actually, do you want to leave that till later on for another thing?
Okay.
Because we're doing something else with that.
You know
so-
something I don't?
Yes.
Okay. I'll put that one back
So
then.
don't try not to choose your butterfly. We do have another project that we'll be doing with that later on, and it's quite useful to use that. So one of the other 3, I should thank you for mentioning that.
That's all right.
I'm going to go for
do the flower one.
You're going to do the flower one.
Okay.
I'm going to do that one. Okay. Right. So roughly with your scissors, and the scissors there for you, Dave. Sorry. Doesn't matter. Don't worry. It's absolutely fine. It's nice for it to see what everybody else does. Now I had scissors when I started out.
Have I nicked yours?
No, that's there. And what you need to do is take your tag. I've got too much on the desk here. I keep losing stuff. So take your tag and roughly measure, okay, where you want to be in the paper, and just trim slightly outside. You need the actual paper to be bigger than the tag.
By a couple of mil or something, or?
Yeah, yes, and there is a reason for that. There is it's not just me being pedantic, it is important.
Does it shrink or something?
No, what happens is, because this transfer medium is quite gloopy, if you actually do it to cut it to fit, then you're trying to make it fit onto the tag.
Yeah.
And trying to fit any piece of paper cut exactly to size is never a good thing. Always over measure it, because you can then cut it down. It's very difficult to try and get something that's the exact size to match it with something else. That's fine. Good. The other thing about it is, because you're using the medium with it, what will happen is, if you're not careful, you don't need to get medium on the back, otherwise you won't be able to take the paper off the back to get the transfer to transfer.
Right.
Okay. Okay. So hopefully at home you now have a tag that you've taken off your acrylic covering on one side, your piece of paper, and you have cut a piece of your pattern paper to match your tag slightly larger.
Check.
Are we all okay with that?
Yes.
Right. So we're now going to take our decor medium and our wide brush.
Is this the sort of crafting you do at home
Yes,
normally?
yes, sometimes,
You
yes.
like this sort of thing?
Yeah,
Dave, there you
lovely.
go, you can share into mine.
Lovely.
Okay. Right, now don't overfill your brush, because you can always add on where taking more off is a bit difficult. So just one dip in, okay, and long sweeping strokes from bottom to top of the tag. Okay,
That's important, is it? Bottom
It
to
is.
top.
yeah. Because you want a thin covering, so you want to be able to see it. But if you do long sweeping toes, if you do short ones, then you get the brush mark in, and also it'll encourage bubbles.
Right.
So don't go backwards and
Don't
forwards.
go backwards and forwards, do long sweeping strokes.
Okay.
And this is always a good thing if you're using this type of medium, or if you're using any medium, even using gesso, sometimes painting backwards and forwards. And
You get the
particularly when you're
lines,
using the
yeah.
crackle later on, if you keep brushing back and forwards, you will actually lose the properties of the crackle.
Right.
Okay.
So if you're all covered with that, okay. Okay, so we have people, thank you very much, people are actually buying the kit as we speak.
Good.
I hope you're going to love it. Now, okay, you've done that.
Yep.
Make sure that you don't, if you've got it on your paper, turn your copy paper over. Hopefully you've got copy paper that you're using, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't have shares in it. People keep saying, you use so much of it, Lesley, do you have shares? No, I don't. But this is always my thing. Again, same principle, dip once and do a thin covering up across
Over
your
the
paper.
printed surface,
Over the
yeah.
printed surface, yes.
Right.
Okay. Now what will happen is, you'll see that the paper will actually start to roll up, and that's because paper, any medium that you introduce wet to, if it's only wet on one side, it automatically curls. Don't worry about it, it will go flat.
Okay. The same thickness that we put on the actual
Same
acrylic
thickness
tag,
you put
yeah.
on, yes.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. And if you can see a sheen, and if you can see, make sure it's all covered. And if you think it isn't, dip again and just give another little coat over.
Does it dry in quite quickly, Lesley?
Well, it depends. The one thing about transfer image, any of the mediums that we're using today, they do tend to be room temperature specific. Well, not specific, but if it's a very warm room, yes, it will dry very quickly. If
So
it's
in a
colder
studio
room,
like this, it will.
in this studio, it's going to dry quicker. But I've also got to remember, so I've done all this, obviously not in studio lights, so I understand that it may dry slower. That's why we're doing it now.
Okay.
And I know by the time we come back to it the next time, everybody's will be dry. So if you want to pop it on the table in front of you, you've all got some silicone paper there. Pop that to one side, and at home, if you like to pop it one side, preferably somewhere where the dog and the cat can't run off with it for the afternoon. I don't know if you like us, we used to have a dog who loved anything when I was crafting, and she used to really, really enjoy anything that was working with either glitter or sprays.
Yes.
And if she heard something go, psst, Alice was there, and she often had a pink nose or a red nose or glitter because she was getting in the way.
My cat's the same with the phone. If ever I'm on the phone, she comes up and nudges it, wants to talk, join in the conversation.
So, right, now then, wash your brushes out, or have a damp cloth or something. I should have told you this, I'm sorry. But rinse your brushes out. With any of the mediums, you just rinse them out. Sorry, Dave, I'll put
Have
that
we
over
finished
here.
with that one there,
and then we can
Lesley?
do it.
All right.
He has now. I keep forgetting that Dave and I bless him.
What's your water?
You've got some water over there?
Have you got some water? Did the water not come through?
It's okay, I can use...
Could I ask somebody?
Wipe.
So you see, this is real life. This is what happens in
Yeah.
your own craft room. You get all started and you think, bother, I can't find something. Could we have... We did start out with one, but I'm not quite sure what's going to happen with it.
Lost a pot. We'll get some.
That's all
There you
right.
go.
That's okay, we can cope.
Not lost the plot. We've lost the pot. Well, we may have lost the plot as well.
Okay.
That's all done.
Okay. It's just that the brushes that you have got in your kit, if you rinse them every time you use any of the mediums or any of the products, or don't keep them standing in water, just rinse them and put them to one side. As long as they're damp, and you keep them damp, so you can always wrap them in a damp towel or a damp cloth. At the end of your session, take them to the bathroom or the kitchen, lukewarm water, hand soap pump, wash them through like that, rinse them out, push them back into shape and leave them to dry naturally, and your good brushes are going to be good to go for ever such a long time.
Leslie, my tag's dried out. Is that all right?
That's fine. Yeah,
Okay,
you want
right.
it to.
Okay.
So just pop it to one side because we're going to do something else in a minute. Because I appreciate that while ours has dried out, Holmes
Other
possibly
people
won't have done.
Right.
Okay. So we put it to one side.
I thought we were to using it when it's still wet. That's
No,
what-
no,
oh,
no,
right.
no, 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 no. We don't. On the instructions, and also put your lids
Oh,
back
it's
on
lovely,
for
thank
now.
you.
Thank you.
Gin and tonic's arrived.
One of the things that it does say to you on here is just to apply one coat to the paper that you're wanting to transfer, or one coat and to the surface that's going to receive it.
Okay.
From my trial and testing of this I find it's best to put one thin coat onto the surface and one onto the printed material, let it dry through, then we'll repeat the process and then we'll actually join them up while it's still wet. You get a much better transfer doing it that way.
Oh, right. Didn't know
I have tried it both ways, and I'll talk about transfers and things when we come to be doing that. All right.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Yep.
So, hopefully at home you now have got something you've started. We've kicked off the Craftalongs away, and we have two pieces that we're going to be working on later on.
And they haven't put us on pause.
And they haven't put it, hopefully not, no. Okay, so now we're going to take our other tag. I will supply you with extra tags because obviously you're going to be joining along with us. But we're now going to take another tag that we have to take the backing off.
Right.
Done.
Okay.
We're good girls.
We are.
You're ahead of me.
We were guides at some point.
So this is for the people that haven't got the transfer medium and have got the paints. So we're actually going to be using, in this particular time, we're going to be using our tag, which we're all fighting. Well, no, everybody's got theirs off and Lesley again's fighting.
Should we do it?
That's got it, thanks Dave. So we're going to be using this. We're going to be using a set of stamps, and the stamps we're going to be using are the Nature's Harvest, which are the ones with the silhouettes of the floral and the grasses. We are going to need either a StazOn or an archival black ink pad. Dave, there's your stamps, so you're going to choose from those. There's your archival ink pad.
Lovely.
Okay, so those are your stamps. You've got your block.
Did you say you wanted the solid one? Is that
I'm going to show you which ones
right.
we're going to be using. But you can choose. I'm going to show you, but you don't have to use the same ones that I'm going to be using.
Okay.
If you want to choose a different combination from your pack of Nature's Harvest stamps, please do. This is not prescriptive. This is us crafting together and you having the choice about what you want to do too.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to start on doing this one. I'm going to lay it down because again we're on the overhead. Okay, so on the area that you have actually taken your plastic covering from, you're going to need to take your acrylic block from the kit.
Got it.
Okay, and you're going to take a selection now. So I start off by doing this sideways on, if I can explain. I'm just going to move that out the way. This has already become like it does at home, hasn't it? 2 inches of space.
Yeah, your desk is going like that.
Just feels very comfortable. Very familiar.
I'm keeping my eye on the
I
biscuits.
have got the list there.
I'm
Are we
keeping
all
my eye on your gin.
Right. Okay. So
Oh,
we're
sideways.
going to start long ways. Sorry, let's start this way. So if you've got the hole for the acrylic tag up to the left of you.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we see all that on overhead?
What if you were a left-hander? I'm
Then it's
not.
the other way.
Then it's the other
Okay,
way.
it's fine.
Just for the people.
But you just must remember that obviously you have to have your stamps the right way around
Yeah.
as well.
Yes.
yeah.
And most right-handed people, but thank you for that, very well said. I know there are a lot of left-handed people out there.
They're the arty ones.
That's the truth, isn't it? Very often. It
This,
really is.
yes, I quite agree. So the first one stamp I'm going to use is I'm going to take the poppy. Now the poppy comes in 2. This is, oh sorry, I've just taken Dave's set. That's the one you want, Dave.
Thief.
I want the dirty ones that I've got here. I can see we're going to have a fun afternoon.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with the outline poppy,
Right.
because the poppy comes as an outline.
Right.
If you want to start with that one, and it also comes as a solid silhouette. And we're going to be doing
Oh,
some,
yeah. Okay.
we're going to be doing some kiss stamping as well.
Oh.
Okay. All right.
So we're going to learn how to do that this afternoon
Warned
too.
about that.
Do you want to cash in your cheque now then and go? Okay, so place your stamp on your acrylic block and take either your archival or your stays on black ink pad. Sorry, I keep remembering I need to be that way. Both work well. Now the one thing I will say to you is if you've got brand new stays-ons or acrylic archival pads, they're very juicy. And you are going to be stamping onto a shiny surface, so don't go straight down like that. Try and introduce it gently, otherwise you will find it will slide about.
Right.
Okay.
These ink pads that yours and mine definitely, Dave, are less new, and that is better because obviously you're still going to get it inked up, but you're not going to have it quite as juicy.
Right.
Okay, so with stamps like this, lots of light tapping. Okay,
In my craft group, we call this the Vanessa tap.
the Vanessa tap.
No,
What?
the Vanessa
Oh,
tap.
Who's
why is it
Vanessa?
who's
Vanessa is my neighbour and the lady who introduced me to this brand of stamps.
Ah.
And she is well known for the Vanessa tap.
Oh, there you are then.
More about that later. Okay,
Is she joining in this afternoon?
Oh, she's watching.
Good.
thank you for this, Vanessa. Okay, so now then, okay, so we have got our stamp inked. We're going to work from the top to the bottom on this,
Right.
okay?
Yeah.
Right, so we're going to, now then, it's your choice. You can either stamp it right up to the edge, slightly off the edge. It's entirely up to you. This is yours. You want to do it. I'm going to slide mine slightly off the edge, introduce it gently, and just place it down gently and press lightly up and down the stamp. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When you come to the stalk at the bottom, don't press too hard because that's thinner. That will actually splay the rubber.
Right.
Okay. And hopefully now you should be able to lift that up. Hold your tag with one hand and pick your stamp up for the other, and there you should have.
Okay.
How are we doing? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy
Okay.
with
Yeah.
We've got some good images there. So clean the stamp off. We're going to have to be very good, aren't we? And clean the stamp off, she says.
Using what, a baby wipe?
Well, yes, I know this Leonie won't approve. She's probably sitting there screaming at me. But for the purposes of quickness this afternoon, I'm sorry, but that's...
There's a mouse in the studio.
They are, yes, I do choose environmentally friendly baby wipes. My director, Chris, thank you for who's joined us for the afternoon. Right.
Makes a change. Love you,
You
Chris.
don't want to hear the things that are going on in my head, to be truthful. Yes, there's a lot of banter going on in the gallery. They have to do with the they can't do the stamping and the play stuff that we're doing. They have to use all the buttons and the posh stuff. Okay. Okay, now choose another, again, not a silhouette, but choose another outline stamp. I've taken the long, slim, almost buttercup style one. Okay. If I pop it down there, you'll be able to see it better. Okay, that's my choice. But you choose what you like. There's also a teasel there as well.
Is that what I've got?
No, you've got the little bells.
Ah,
The little
bluebells.
bluebells.
Right.
Okay.
Again,
Right.
ink it up.
Again, ink it up.
Now, lots of you are busy, avidly watching. Some of you have taken time out to email in, which
Oh,
is
thank
wonderful.
you. That's very good.
So, Hello to Vanessa and Donna.
There's your Vanessa.
She's obviously not tapping her ink pad at the moment.
She's tapping her phone instead, or a keypad. Yeah.
Okay. How are they enjoying it, or are they asking questions? Oh, that's kind. Thank you too for taking the time out to let us know. Okay. So slightly away from, almost sort of giving yourself a little bit of space. I'm going to lay that on there so you can actually see where I'm going with that. Is to just give a bit of space between the first stamping and the second stamp.
Okay.
Roughly the same height.
No, try and stagger the heights if you wish to. Again,
Too
another good
late.
question. Okay, fine, whatever.
I've got it.
It's fine. Dave, this is yours. This is everybody's will be hopefully different. And again, try not to splay too much on the stalk because, as I say, it will splay out and give you a thicker edge. Okay, so now we have another one. Yeah.
It's wonderfully crisp.
Yeah, yeah. That's a chocolate baroque stamp for
Yeah,
you.
absolutely.
I mean, you've seen them long enough, Deb, but you never actually used them. So.
Well,
you know.
no, well, I have in shows, but I mean, yeah, they're very, very good quality.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm going to clean them off again.
Yes. Now we're going to pick some silhouette stamps. Okay, so I am going to go for the silhouette poppy. So if you've chosen another one with a different silhouette, then take that one first.
Right.
So you've chosen the teasel, Dave. So
Yep.
you need your teasel silhouette.
that
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Okay. And what have you ladies? Oh, the teasel over there. And I can't say. Oh, Kim, you've
poppy.
got poppy.
Poppy
Lovely.
and a teasel line.
Okay. Now, silhouette stamps need to be treated slightly differently, especially when we're inking them up.
Okay.
These are the ones that people have a lot of more trouble with. They say, I can't get them to stamp properly. If you've got a stamping platform, which I know both you ladies have,
Yeah.
and I sometimes use occasionally, you'll find that because it's solid, the ink and the paper tend to, some of the ink will stick to the silhouette stamp.
Right.
And it sometimes leaves either gaps and areas, or it leaves it looking a little bit mottled.
Yes.
If you've got your stamping platform, you just ink it up and go back in again, and you can get that perfect one. For this purposes, I don't mind. Because this is a shiny surface, it's automatically going to pull some of the ink away. Don't worry about that, because when you paint it, it just all blends in.
Okay.
But to actually ink it up, my suggestion is always to kind of glide your ink pad first over the actual stamp.
And this is using the same ink as we
Using
used.
we're using the same ink all the time. Because we're stamping onto a non-porous surface, we need something that's going to dry on it.
Right.
Now, a VersaFine, which is what I recommend all the time for detail stamps, unfortunately doesn't dry because it's oil-based. It will never dry on here in the month of Sundays.
Right.
Neither will a pigment ink.
That's what gets so confusing about inks, is
Yeah.
which one to use for different surfaces
Yeah, which
and all
is
that.
when I did my ink school last year.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that we kind of covered. But archival, although it's not meant for porous surfaces, will actually dry, or you can enforce it to dry by using a heat gun. Stays on does actually dry on any non-porous surface.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you've got a stays on, you know that's going to dry.
Okay.
So we just glide it over first, and then we do lots of tapping after that, and
Yep.
you'll find that way you'll get a much better coverage of the solid rubber.
You can see when you get a lovely coverage, can't you? The
Yes.
colour changes completely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's our tip for using that. So go back again to your tag, and try placing your silhouette between the first two stamps that you've done.
Okay.
Oh, not
So
over
not
the
over
top of the
No,
first
no,
one?
no, between.
And
Different
again,
height again.
Different height again,
different-
yes, stagger the
okay.
height again.
Okay.
You're trying to kind of give that sort of almost field of corn and flowers, etc.
Does it matter if we come off the tag?
No,
No.
it doesn't matter at all.
Okay.
If you want to come off the tag, if you want to, now again, be careful because don't go to near the bottom part with the stalk, but you need to press on a little bit more on the silhouette head for it to take the ink, but don't be surprised when you pull it off if it leaves some ink behind. Yours has, Dave. It will. But
Mine
once-
left-
yeah,
Mine left a hole.
yes, it will. That's everybody's
mine as
has.
well.
That's
Yeah,
absolutely
okay.
fine.
Oh, good.
Now, if you wanted
Well, yours
to,
hasn't.
there's two other ways to do this. Clean the stamp, and then we need to pick a final solid stamp to finish off the other one. So you want another silhouette
Sorry.
one. The squeaking is not me, and it's not the table. Is it, Mr.
It's
Bradford?
my hip.
Okay.
Right.
Squeaking is optional.
Okay.
So take the other solid stamp you have.
Same again?
Oh, thank you very much. We had a lovely email from a lady called Jane, who's thanking for the inspiration and also for the show. She's thoroughly enjoying it. So I hope you all are too. If I can be honest, I have to say I was so nervous about this. These two ladies, and Dave will tell you, before the show I was so nervous.
I've never seen you like that before.
Because I want everybody at home to have a fantastic experience. They have bought into this and to the kit and to me, and I just want you at home to enjoy it and hope that you get as much out of it as we do this afternoon.
And we are.
That's what,
Okay.
that's what your shows are all about, and we're doing more and more and more in the future.
Yeah,
aren't we? So
yeah. And I'm just so pleased that you could join us, because I think this is
a privilege.
great.
You're enjoying it being
Absolutely.
here?
Yeah, it's been great fun.
Brilliant.
Good. So, same principle. We are going to drag our ink pad through the stamp to
Do I
start
need the
with.
solid version of the bluebells? 'Cause
There isn't a solid
there isn't.
version of the
Oh, right,
bluebells.
so I'll just do
Yes, another
Okay.
one. That's
Yeah.
fine. The bluebells was one of the ones that was so difficult because they're so tiny.
Right.
To do a solid one, I did try it and it wasn't working. Sue did some beautiful, beautiful stamps as usual, and these are brand new today. These aren't even on our website. These
Oh.
stamps were particularly designed for the Craftalong kit.
And that kit is still available if you do want it. I know lots of you are ordering it this afternoon, because you can watch this back, even though it's live now on the 24th of March. Who am I? Where am I? 2:30.
Yes.
This can be watched back about 2 weeks after it's gone out. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, if you've got that, put this one to the opposite side.
Okay.
So where you've got the last space left, this is where you're going. And again, vary the height.
Do I go over the top of the bluebells? or
Yes,
just
you
on-
can
on-
go. Yeah, you can go over top of them. It will still show.
Okay.
And then, hopefully, we have, and again, I have a hole and a gap there, and take them off.
So it's giving kind of depth now, isn't
It
it?
is, yes.
Oh,
That's
I
the
see.
whole idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Have we all got something?
Yes.
Okay.
They're lovely
So-
stamps, Leslie.
You like them?
Yeah, they're beautiful. Yeah.
So hopefully at home now you have something that resembles this one that I have here. Okay.
Or the one
Now
that I've got
then.
here.
Oh, thank you very much.
there.
Although they're not crafting in the gallery, both Chris and Emily, who is our producer this afternoon, has said love it. So I think secretly they've got a stamp somewhere between them under the desk.
Actually, that should happen. We should get the gallery doing it.
We
as well,
should.
shouldn't we?
I quite agree. Yeah. Okay, now then, can I just make, these are going to have to go and dry for a little bit. It won't take long. And if it does, we can use our heat guns to just waft through just to dry them off.
Okay.
But I want, Dave, do you want to hold
Yep,
yours up? Do you
that's
want the
mine.
ladies hold yours up
Yeah,
as well
sure.
so we can all see where we're at?
So you
like
can
those.
compare yours at home.
Uh-huh.
There you go. That's mine. It's all right, isn't it?
Okay.
Then we've got
Is that beautiful?
Christine's.
Yeah.
There's Christine's. Totally different. We're all
Yes.
different.
And Kim's.
I'm the only one who didn't go down the bottom.
So Christine, that's Christine's there, and there's Kim on the end there holding hers up. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah,
There
keep
we
it
go.
there.
There it is.
Fantastic, thank you.
Excellent.
So hopefully at home yours is similar, but it won't be the same as this.
Mhm.
Okay, right. So one thing before we actually put this to one side, you see where you've got the holes and the gaps.
Yes.
Once you've dried this, if you wanted to, you could actually paint in a different colour in there.
All right.
Oh, okay.
So if you wanted to pop in something to emphasise those, just to tone in with what you're doing, and that would pop when you're...
What paint would you use, or what ink
The
would you use?
acrylic paint.
Acrylic. Okay.
I wouldn't use an ink, I would use an acrylic paint,
Right.
which is what we have on the table that we'll be using later on this afternoon.
Good.
So do you want to now swap those in for your other tag and your paper out?
The
while
one we
they dry?
prepared.
All
Yes.
right.
So hopefully now at home, if you are not doing the one with the medium, you have now time to sort of get yourself gathered together before we start something else. And we will be working next time, just so you know, the water spritz. When I sent the little introduction, hello, welcome to your kit out, I managed to put craft matter twice and missed water spritz out completely. So if you've got one of these, it's going to be helpful for what we're going to be doing very shortly.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. Yep.
Right, so back to our, put our blocks away.
That's
We've
all dry
got-
now, isn't it?
That's all dry, and it should now, the paper hopefully will have flattened out.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, it's gone fairly flat, and your tag will now look quite frosty and sort of matte.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, and you should be able to fit. It feels almost like almost like a frosted effect, doesn't it? You can feel
Yeah.
that there is a texture on there of some description.
It's definitely not smooth. It's more of a chalky finish, isn't
Chalky,
it? Yeah.
good. Yes, I like that. And also, if you can see, you shouldn't be able to see any brush marks. If you've done
I
it,
can.
can you?
Yeah.
Or a few.
Don't worry about it. It will all, when you put it on again, it'll all disappear.
Texture.
Okay.
Texture, it's fine. Because you're going to be able to see through this eventually. This
Yes.
is a window you're creating, so don't worry. If you've got texture marks, it's not the biggest problem in the world.
Join the
Okay.
club.
Exactly. You've done what Kim's done, so you can be proud of yourself. Right, back to our medium. Okay, same brush as we had.
Thank you.
Loving Dave's sense of humour.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, no comments about the shirt. This is a special request shirt. This was.
It's about me requesting, because I do love Dave's fancy shirts. I really do.
You're about
Okay.
the only one that does.
You obviously do, because you
I
wear
love
them.
it. Yeah.
Okay, so but back into what we did now. So a good splodge this time, and we're going to do the tag first. And the reason for doing the tag first is because it dries slower on the tag than it will on the paper.
And again, going from the bottom to
Going
the top.
from the bottom from the top,
Yeah.
yes, and
Top,
long
top.
sweeping strokes.
I don't suppose it matters.
No, I went from the top to the bottom.
I've done
as well.
exactly
Whichever
the
way,
same,
yes.
Mm.
It's fine.
As long as it's in one direction, I suppose.
Yes, that's correct. Okay. So once you've got that done, just
A bit
literally
thicker than the first one, yeah?
slightly thicker than the first one, yes.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Now we want to do also, we will now want to do the actual paper, the printed side up again,
Yeah.
and we're going to do that next as well. Okay.
And this image transfer solution's on the website, yeah?
It is, yes. It comes as a kit, as I say, it comes with a deco page, which is a matte glue and sealant,
Yeah.
and it comes with a matte medium. Now the matte medium in there is really good because as well as it acting as a glue and a sealant, and also it paints well over things such as glitter and stuff. If you want to encapsulate glitter and things like that, it works over those without giving it any extra shine.
Right.
It also, if you add it to your acrylic paints that are in the kit, you can extend the life of them.
Okay.
So if you're painting with acrylic and you're finding that they're drying up very quickly, if you put a little blob of your matte medium in with it, it extends it and stops it from drying out so quick. So it means you've got longer to paint.
Okay.
Could you use a photograph rather than paper?
You could. Yes, you can use all sorts of things about transfers. We're going to be doing very, very shortly as well. We're going to be doing one of the transfers out of the kit. Make sure the photographs are yours. Don't use anything that you have no copyright or anything over, or any images that you have that you own. So your own photographs, anything like that. Don't think you can download something, just download it from the website and use it. You can't.
So this works on any type of paper, does it?
It
Or-
works on, usually the cheaper the better. These are printed papers that that I've designed, that I've put together for our next lot of papers. These are on normally a better quality. The ones in your kit are actually on an 80 GSM paper, copier paper. And the reason for that is that when you come to see it at the end, it's easier to get the backing off a cheaper paper when you wet it than it is if you're using a really good quality paper. The other thing is, laser, if you can. I have done it with an inkjet printer and it does work too. But laser, these have all been laser printed for you.
Right.
What about tissue paper? Would that be too...
Tissue paper will work, but it won't transfer, it'll just stay.
Stay,
You won't be able to take the back from it.
Same with rice paper.
Same with rice paper, same with serviettes.
Right.
Okay. So,
Now,
Oh.
Pete in Poole.
no,
in
Pete,
artist,
Pete and Paul, Artisan
sorry,
Design.
Beg your pardon, artisan
Yeah.
design. Not Pete in Poole.
Yeah.
That's where I
Pete
live.
Simpson, who was on with his own show last week.
Yes. Sending lots of love.
Oh, that's very sweet of them. Right, I need to get on. Just make sure that it hasn't dried out while I've been talking. So make sure it's still wet.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go in for a
We
bit
best
more
go a
then.
bit more then.
Yeah.
But on both surfaces, Lesley?
On both surfaces, yes.
Okay. So you wanted it to dry out first time. This time
Yes,
you
this
don't.
time you will need it wet.
Okay.
Now then, again, another piece of paper. What you don't want to do is to make sure you don't get the back of your printed paper, your printed transfer, damp with the medium. Because if you do, it's going to be very difficult to get the backing paper off.
Right.
So lay your tag down, transfer material up, and lay your paper over the top. Now if you want to introduce it the other way, if you feel you get it on straighter, lay your paper down and put your tag on top the other way. It's entirely clear how you want to do it. But make sure that you get, and the best way to do is to now press onto your tag up and down, because okay, because you don't want or thump it as Dave has just done. And that way you will get a nice seal. Once you've done that, just run your back of your hand over it. Now you can see why, if we cut this to size, how it would be easy if some of the sealant squeezed out and got onto the back of the paper.
Yes, it would.
Make sure you press into the edges so that it's well stuck around the edge.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Does it matter that a little bit of sealant's popped out?
No,
No,
that's
that's
fine.
fine.
No,
Okay.
not a problem at all.
Good.
And we want to lay this to one side to dry.
Okay. Yeah.
Face down.
Okay?
Or off.
Face
that's-
down, face up,
Face up.
face up.
Okay?
Yep.
And swap your other tag back in.
Okay.
Okay, now we're actually going to be using the medium again very, very shortly.
Okay, so just leave it out.
So just leave it out for the moment, although you may want to rinse your brush because we are going to be painting, but you can paint with the other brush as well, the other one, okay?
Yeah, go for it.
Are we enjoying ourselves? I hope you're enjoying yourselves at home.
Having a blast?
Yes, it's great fun.
I hope, Kim,
Yeah.
is it what you hoped it would be?
Yes, yes, yes. And it's
about
nice to craft with other people.
Yes.
Because often you're sitting in your own house
Yes,
doing it
a
by
lot of
yourself.
yes, we do. A lot of us do a craft in isolation. We forget that. So hopefully this is our virtual workshop with you this afternoon.
Is her chandler like you thought it would be?
No, not at all.
I don't know. That's good.
that a
bad, or
good
indifferent.
thing?
No, it's good. It's
very-
amazing.
It's as friendly as I thought it would be, but
Yeah.
the studio is different. I didn't
Yeah.
expect this layout, but it's
No.
really fascinating to see behind the scenes.
Everyone is really friendly, which is lovely.
Yeah.
That's good.
Good.
The set is mind-blowing.
Good. Okay, back to this stamp. Okay.
Yep.
Now then, what we want to make sure now is if this is dry. Okay. So if you've used an archival, it possibly will need a little bit of assistance to dry it. So a quick waft over won't do it any harm. Okay. Now this is probably Mike's out because there's already 4. You've got
got a
one there,
powerful one.
Dave. You've got one, Dave,
Have I
there.
one? Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
you've got one as well. So
It's the first crafting thing I ever bought,
Was it?
and I still have it.
now don't waft it over. This is not embossing. You don't want to be keeping it because bear in mind you have got an acrylic block there, an acrylic tag, which will bend with heat. So all you're trying to do is to heat off the ink.
You can see when it starts to go a little bit matte, where it was glossy, where it was obviously wet before, it's now matte.
And
so.
the other test, which is the one that I always use, is if you've got your photocopy paper, is just to press it gently into there. And if it leaves no residue behind, you're fine.
I'm fine. Yeah.
Okay.
You fine?
Are we all fine?
Have a
You
go.
fine?
Yeah.
Good.
Good. Okay. So now you have a choice. You can either use now in the kit, you have got possibly there's a choice of 2 different colours of each thing here. Again, a bit like the medium. They must love me because I bought up I think every colour and everything that they had. So the kit originally started out with a pyrrole red and the blue-green light in the paint, which is a slightly greenier version. Okay.
Okay.
Then when I ordered it again, they had more of the red, but they didn't have any more of the light, so we went to cobalt teal. And then when I had to order more again, so I thank you so much for buying this kit. And
The response was amazing, wasn't it?
it was, yes. They had no pyrrole red left, so we got vermilion, okay, which is an orangey red here. But they've all been chosen to go with the papers that you've got. So
Right.
whether you've got the blue-green light, you've got the pyrrole red, the cobalt teal, or the vermilion, all of them work with the colours in front of you.
What do you think, Kim?
I quite like the orange.
Would you want to share? Which one do you want, Dave? Because would you
I
share
fancy the
your
teal.
orange? Right. Would you share your
Okay.
orange with Kim?
Of course I would. There
Oh.
you go.
Thank you, Dave.
Okay.
What do you fancy?
I'm very happy because it'll go with what I've chosen as papers. So
Okay.
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. Right. So again, here we go.
And this is ordinary acrylic paint.
This is on. This is the mix. This is the Deco Art. It is a fluid acrylic.
Right.
So there's a lot more pigment in this. It's a lot stronger. Now, depending on which colour you've got, some will be thicker and some will be thinner, and that's all down to the pigment. Reds, because they don't take much colour to colour them, actually are thicker. Blues take a bit more of a different pigment, and that will be thinner. That is more of a translucent, where this one will be more opaque.
Okay.
All right.
The scarlet orange one will also be more opaque. The blue-green light will be a bit more translucent. So that will depend how many coats you want to put on.
Okay.
So if you've got the red or the orange, you can more or less slap on a really thick coat and leave it to dry. With the teal or the blue-green light, I would suggest that you put on one thin coat and then put another coat on over the top after that. Once
After it's
it's dry.
dried.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Okay, paints are ready.
And we're
Off
going
we go.
straight on the top of the ink.
We're going straight
Okay.
on top of the ink.
Okay.
So pop paint onto it. Okay. Now the one thing that you do want to think about is, okay, that you don't want to put too much on. You can always add on, but time to scoop it up and take it away. Again, remember sweeping strokes.
Now, I've had a question from Donna. Hello, Donna. She wants to know, do you do the same step with a different brand of the transfer medium?
No, this set unfortunately has only got this particular brand in it.
Right.
But you can use, there are other transfer mediums on the market which you can get, which will still do the job. I tend to use DecoArt because, again, quality for price wise, and the Viva, right, if you use it, if this lady is using another one, which I've just heard what she's using, that's absolutely fine. It will do the same job.
Gosh, that really is different, isn't it?
Yes, isn't it? It's a lot more opaque.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
red
mine's
is-
quite,
Yeah,
quite
the orange
translucent.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's very
whereas this
translucent.
is
Yes,
more
and-
opaque, the red one. Yeah.
Yes,
It's
it is.
interesting, isn't it? You'd
Yes.
think they would be the same.
No,
So-
it's because of the, as I say, it's because of the pigment that's attached in there as to why. So don't think there's anything wrong with your paint. There isn't. All of the colours in the DecoArt range will have different. They'll either be translucent or they will be opaque, depending on the colour. So if you've managed to get one coat on with red, okay, just put it onto one side. Okay. And
Should I
again,
put a bit more on, do you think, Lesley? or
no,
not?
it doesn't. It doesn't work that way. You need to dry it,
Right.
okay, to put more on. Because all you're doing is you're just moving it around.
Right, so do we
Okay,
dry it with
right.
the heat
So
tool?
just leave it
No,
like that,
just
yeah?
leave it for the moment.
Right.
Okay.
Now, Jane has got in touch. She wants some advice. The best way to stick stamps onto the acrylic.
Okay. We've got cling with ours. If you haven't got cling, okay, you could use a Pritt stick, or you could use a repositionable spray mount, which you can use
Yep.
and buy that.
Yep.
As I say, ours have been mounted on cling for quickness. There is also a product on the market called Tack and Peel, which actually permanently sticks to your acrylic block, and then your stamps just go on and off. So those are the ways. A lot of people like them unmounted because if you're having problems, you can always do it the opposite way, which is to have your stamp laid down and introduce your surface to your stamp.
Well, the quick way of doing it is a glue stick. If you've got one of those
Yes,
in the
glue
kitchen
stick.
cupboard or something like that,
Yeah,
that'll do
glue
the job
stick
for
is
you.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that's going to be left to dry now, yeah?
Yeah, let that one to dry. Okay.
Washing brushes.
Yes, wash your brushes again. Okay, give them a quick.
Which hand of pink?
Yeah. I don't want to drink it
Oh,
now.
Catherine's stuck.
Catherine, hello,
Hi,
Catherine. She
Catherine.
wishes she was here. She was here for the first one. She was doing it in the background.
Oh,
on the
was
first-
she?
Yeah, the
Oh,
first one
right.
with-
I didn't realise. With Barbara.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, because that was Janice, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That
that's
one?
right.
Yes.
Barbara, Catherine bought the kit and she was doing it in the studio.
I do know that both Kathy and Mel from Pink Ink Designs both wanted to join us as well. I don't think that, unfortunately, the table wasn't probably big enough. My director's just having a fit there. Having to cope with 4 of us is bad enough.
I didn't know I was doing this until yesterday. Because there should be Charlie here this afternoon. He took the
Yes.
day off, so I'm standing in. So
Yeah.
yeah, you scared him off.
Panicked. Oh, thank you.
No, you didn't.
Confidence building.
Only joking.
Panicked at the last minute and said, no, I'm going to do this. Okay, so are we all good?
Yes. We're all good.
Okay, I managed to get paint over there. Right, so while everything is now drying, we're going to be doing something very, very quick and easy. Okay.
Yeah.
In your kit, you got a selection of papers. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. They are papers and card.
Should
So-
get rid of the paint on here.
Sorry?
Should I get rid
Yes,
of the
move
paint?
the
Yeah,
paint.
move
So
that.
again, change it. You see why I like copy paper? You
Yep.
just kind of get rid of it.
What a mess I'm making down here.
Sorry. Basket here, do.
Oh, was there?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't realise.
Only on live TV.
I'll move it over.
Okay, so in this you have 5 sheets of our watercolour drawing cartridge. You have 5 sheets of the craft card, which we're going to be using next after this one we're doing. You have 5 sheets of textured art card, which looks like a linen feel.
Got that?
And then you have 5 sheets of the speciality paper, which is the ice gold shot through it.
Oh, yes.
Nice.
Yes, yes,
Like
yes.
pearlescent.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
very
lovely.
nice.
Isn't it?
So the one we're going to be doing first is we're going to take some of the water cartridge. That's the drawing cartridge, okay, which is equivalent to watercolour paper. And if you want to know the difference, it's the one that's smooth. You can tell the texture art card, it has got that texture and that linen look through it. So you're wanting a piece of the smooth.
Is that the one?
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Good. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. We want our acrylic block.
Check.
We also now, I asked you in your kit, one of the things I did ask you to have was either to have a dye-based ink or a distress oxide ink in 3 separate colours. So I asked you to use fertilised. There's a good blooper for Christmas. I think we should rename that.
Absolutely.
Oh gosh, fossilised amber.
I prefer your version.
I'm going to say picked raspberry because pickled raspberry is one as it often gets called.
Yep.
And peacock feathers. It doesn't matter which one you choose which colour you'd like to use now.
Right.
Okay, so it doesn't matter if it's the oxide or if it's the dye-based, it's entirely up to you. Your turn to now choose whatever colour. What colour would you like, David? And would you like the oxide or would you like the dye?
I love the oxides. I'll go with an oxide and I'll go with one of my favourite colours, the yellow.
Okay, the fertilised amber.
Fertilised amber, yes. Thank you.
Ever to be now known as.
Fertilised amber.
What are you going for?
Peacock feathers.
And what are you going for?
I think I'm going to go peacock feathers as well.
Okay, I tell you what then, shall I go for picked raspberry or pickled raspberry? Right. To start with, can we fold our card in half? So it's very
It's the
easy.
same both sides, isn't it?
It is the same both sides.
There's no front or back.
No. And we're now going to make a little dinky square card like that. Okay, put it down, Lesley, and then people can see. Okay.
Yep.
And we're going to use it, when we use it, we're going to use it
borrow
what
your
I
bone
call
folder?
tent fashion. In other words, it stands like an A shape when we do it like that.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Okay. So put that to one side. This is a very, very quick thing. If you wanted to do little notelets or little thank you cards or even little gift cards, this is a really quick and easy way to do it. Okay, just using one piece of DL card. So take your block, take your ink that you've chosen, and this is where you want your water spritzer.
Got it? Yep.
Okay. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to put our whole block of ink into the middle of our, press it firmly into our block. Now then, if you've got a distress ink pad, which is the normal one, it'll bead. If you have got the chalky one, you'll see that it'll be quite full from the edges and the centre will be less filled in.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
like mine. Yep.
That's not a problem. What we're going to do now is we're going to introduce our water spritzer to it, and we're going to spritz, not a lot, but certainly until it beads up. Okay. Now take your card and press, sorry, other way on, my apologies, card on the deck, okay, and take your acrylic block and you're going to kind of just spread it like that, straight down, squish it
Off centre,
off centre, into the centre, doesn't matter where you do it, it's up to
top
you.
or bottom, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, you squish it wherever you want to do and just press it well down. And
Ooh.
you'll see the colour will go everywhere.
It
has.
Yeah.
Okay.
And off the page.
And off the page is fine. Okay, just allow it to soak in just a little bit and then lift, and you'll find that you've got a bit on the edge. So take some paper and just dab the edge. I'm very sorry.
Donna has spat her tea out over fertilised amber. I think you and everybody else.
Yeah, everybody else has. You will have some spare, if you've filled in the whole of your paper with it, that's fine. If you've got some spare ink and you want to make it a bit smooth, now you need to spritz it with water again, but spritz your actual card.
Yep.
You don't need to, Dave, because yours is quite okay, yours is spread out well.
Okay.
Possibly Christine's is a little bit more, and yours is a bit dark as well, Kim. So spritz your actual card, okay, with the water. Okay, and take your acrylic block and press into it again and move it around, and you'll find that it should start to move the ink a bit.
And it lightens as well.
It lightens it up as well.
It's a great feeling when you press the
Isn't it?
block down.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Modern art.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's lovely. That's absolutely fine. So we'll all have variations, hopefully now, of this type of little card like that, look. Okay?
Okay.
Shall we show everybody? That's yours.
Yes,
There's
mine. There you go.
There you go. That's not a bad coverage, is it? That's mine.
Okay, we're going to have just tea delivered to us while we're showing all these lovely pictures.
Do we get duty free as well?
Do we get duty free? Sweet cigarettes and ice cream. So can we have a... Oh, that's the back of my husband. Do you want to just give a quick wave, David?
Tea, coffee, David's.
Tea, coffee,
marvellous.
David's.
Yes. Trust me to be different.
Thank you very much. Okay. Right, we'll hand those out very shortly. So are we all happy with what we've got?
Do you want us to dry them off a little bit later?
Yes, if you just want to dry those off, while you're drying those off, I'm going to just move out of my chair and I'm going to be mother. Is that all right? You dry yours off at home. Dave, that's yours.
Cheers, video.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. What do you like, Kim? Tea? Yes.
You're so civilised. Hi, tea.
Well, this is what you're doing at home.
Yeah.
Everyone's running to turn the kettle on.
Milk and sugar.
Just a bit of milk, please.
Okay. And this is not like any other Craftalong, is it, that you've done?
Not having it served like
No,
this,
no, this is very civilised.
We've
I
got
just
some
pop that
emails
Lovely,
coming in.
thank
What
you
are you doing
very
that,
Steve,
Lesley?
what would you like?
Black tea, please.
Black tea.
Black tea.
This is from... Oh, it doesn't give me a name on this one, does it? Who, sorry? Dee. Dee says, hi Lesley, David, Christine and Kim. I'm having an absolute ball crafting along with you guys. Don't worry, Lesley, I shall be going back to my samples after this. Laugh out loud.
Oh, that's lovely, thank you.
The Joe says, hello, this is Joe Harriman. She says, hi Lesley, Joe Harriman here. Decided I wasn't feeling confident enough, so I'm recording and will do my kit when I get my new glasses next week. I wish I could have entered the competition to join, but my cast and its frame would have definitely got in the way. Enjoying the show.
Get well, Joe. Joe's
well
had an
soon, Joe.
operation, bless her, so get well soon.
Absolutely. And keep the emails coming in. Any emails of
milk
you
in
maybe
mine.
crafting with friends in front of the telly with us in the background or something? It'd be lovely to see those. Email studio@hachandra.com.
Okay.
Right.
Do you want a biscuit?
Oh, thanks. Another finger. Thank you.
Oh gosh, this is very civilised.
Temptation.
Thank you.
Kim, can you reach those?
I'll just go for the one on the Thank you very much.
Okay.
Beautifully arranged biscuits.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
There we go. Okay. So, I'm going to put mine over there because I have been known to put a paintbrush in tea and coffee before. Okay, so we hopefully now have got to the point where we've got dried like this.
Yep.
So now we need to take again one of our silhouette stamps. One of our Nature's Harvest stamps. Again, choose whichever ones you want. It's entirely up to you. I would suggest that you have one of the ones, we're going to do a little bit of painting. So my suggestion is that you actually have one that is open and one of the outline ones rather than the silhouettes.
Okay.
So
I
I'm
think I'll
going
go
to
for the
choose...
bluebell again. I like that one.
Yeah, the bluebell's pretty. I'm going to go for the bluebell.
So this one.
Okay, what are you going for,
I think
Chris?
it's that
That
one.
one. Oh, the
Yeah.
bluebells, yeah. Thank you.
You going for the bluebell?
Yes.
And what about you, Kim?
Haven't used it.
Got the bluebell.
All going for the bluebell.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So back to our... Now this time you can use your VersaFine. But if you haven't got a VersaFine,
I've lost my credit block.
you've lost your block.
Where's that gone?
Panic.
There's the
there.
There it is.
Need to clean it.
Do you want to clean it
Does.
off?
It's all right, I'll do it. Got it.
This is proper crafting.
Yeah. We're now all working in 6 inches of space.
if that.
And losing everything. So you can use, we're going to be painting, so we're going to be introducing waters. So our archive will work, your Stazen will work, or your VersaFine. All of which are suitable to be used with water and they won't bleed when you
Okay,
start to paint
good.
with them. Okay.
I've still got the archival, so that's fine.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So.
Now,
Oh, fantastic.
loads of you have got your tea and biscuits out as well, or something a little bit naughty if you want. It's Sunday afternoon, you know, anything
It's
goes.
entirely up to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was the tap again, Kim?
It's called the Vanessa tap.
Vanessa
And we're all
tap.
doing the Vanessa tap. We're doing Vanessa tap with fertilised amber. How good does it get? Okay.
Yep.
So, right. So, now then, as I say, if you've got plenty of ink on and want to do it that way, judge by where your ink's landed. I think mine's going to look odd if I stamp it that way, so I'm actually going to turn mine normal that way. But if you've got plenty of ink on it and you can do it as an A-frame, you judge where you think it would be
He's
best.
going diagonal.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Yeah.
diagonal.
That's
Would that
enti-
work or not?
It's up to you.
Yeah, I'm going to go wonky.
It's up. You do what you want.
All right.
Okay.
Yep.
Talk to him later. So you stamp whichever way you want. I'm going to stamp to one edge, to one end here, and I'm going to sort of stamp the stalk off the end. That's how I want to choose to do mine. You choose, again, this is all about choices. You choose to do what you would like to. We're here to give you the ideas and the inspiration, and hopefully then you will just run away with the ball after that. Okay, so
Nice.
smiling it up.
Oh, you've done the bluebells too.
I think we've all done the bluebells, haven't we?
Yeah, I think
we
so.
have,
Yeah. Okay. Go test. Make sure that that's blotted and that it's quiet. It's okay.
Yep.
Right. Now then, back to our inks. Our distress inks, our oxide inks. Wow, we've got 1 hour gone. We've got 57 minutes
That's
left.
gone.
Really?
Like that.
Wow,
Gosh,
we've got all sorts of things I had planned, which may or may not happen now. Okay, so this one, what we're going to do now is we're going to take our ink pads that we had and we're going to paint these very, very quickly.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so your bluebells probably want to be done in the pink, or you can do because the pink and the blue will actually, or you can do them whichever colour you've got underneath. If you want to do a pink one or blue one is fine, but bearing in mind the ink you've got underneath will change it.
Oh, of course. So what colour would I add to yellow then?
To yellow, I would tend to add the pink because
Yeah.
at least
You'll
you
go
get
green with the
orange.
ones.
Of course I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've chosen these colours, although they're shades, I've chosen them because they're all primary. So as soon as you start mixing them, you will get yellow
didn't
with the pink will
stamp
give you
on the ink.
orange, red with the blue will give you purple, and yellow with the blue will give you green. So you've got all those different shades
Right.
with just the 3 ink pads.
So I'd have made a mistake and gone in with the blue, which would have ruined it. So.
That would have, yeah. So a fine paintbrush, if you've got a fine paintbrush, or even this paintbrush we've got here will work in the very fine one that's in the actual kit. We can use this one, okay? And the thing is, on our mat here, we're going to place the colours. So I'm going to place the pink on all 3 colours you want on. Pink,
You want all three?
all 3, yes, the blue, and the
Got enough
yellow.
room?
Can you manage, Dave?
Yeah, that's right.
If I move that over and move that out the way. Okay.
That's the yellow and the blue.
Are we ready? Right.
Mhm.
A little bit of water. So anybody who bought these the other week, these are our triple ones, so you want a little bit of water. And you're just going to pick up whatever colour you have chosen to make your actual bluebells. So
So if you're going on yellow, your advice is go pink.
go pink. If you've gone with pink like I have, go in with blue and a little bit of pink. And all we're going to do is just very, very, very quickly, and you don't have to be perfect about this, doesn't have to be. The whole idea with this is to make it look almost watercolour sketchy.
Do we paint all the flowers?
Paint all the flowers, yes, and the little buds. And if you hold the brush on the side, you'll be able to literally fill in very, very quickly. Hopefully, you'll be able to fill in very quickly. And then, once we've done that one, we can then take some of the blue and some of the yellow, and we can create green for the leaves and the stalk.
Ah,
And that's how you get your green.
gotcha.
And again, on the side, just fill it in. Now, because I've got a pink background, my green's going to look different to other people's. If you've got a yellow background, yours, Dave, will stand out because you've got a yellow background. Blue backgrounds, your green will stand out there too. Pink is the one that tends to. So trust me to use a different one. But I do have one I made earlier to show you how it's finished off. Now, hopefully at home, this is also helping you to learn about colours if you don't already know, or how to blend colours, and how basically just 3 colours, if you're going away anywhere or you're going to a craft club and you don't want to take all your paints and all your colours, if you take 3 primary colours, you can then blend and make a further 3. So you can, and then you can do shades of.
Right, yeah. I didn't think about blending the colours together, so
Yeah. So
makes sense.
How are we doing, Kim, Christine? All right.
Fine, thank you. Yes.
And when it comes to doing the stalks, they're very fine. Just brush on its end and just dab, just tap down the stalk. And that way, it doesn't matter if you get ink over the edge because it is meant to look watercolour. Okay. How are we all doing?
I'm surprised I'm not sat here with my tongue out yet, because that's what normally...
A great way to craft class is get people to cut something out. And the room goes quiet and everybody's got their tongue going in the same direction as their scissors. Now, normally I wouldn't clean up my craft mat. I would normally then wet it and swish round with some of either the textured card or some of the watercolour card, the drawing cartridge that's in your kit. And then you can mop up and make more backgrounds. But I'm also conscious that I don't believe the time's going as it is.
I know, it's going really quickly. Just over 50 minutes left.
Oh, good grief.
Let us know what you think about the craft-alongs as well. We're doing, I think it's one a month at the moment, but that might increase if you're loving them, which I think you are.
Okay. Oh my goodness. We have a load of emails here. Oh gosh. Margaret, thank you very, very much. Hi Lesley, Dave and ladies. Just to say, really enjoying the show. I've been out, so I'm watching slightly behind. I'm also crafting along with you, doing a cross-stitch sampler. Fantastic, Margaret. That's lovely. I believe 2 ladies round here started their crafting cross-stitching, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Is that what started it all for you?
Yes, cross-stitch.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Pat, thank you very much, Pat. Hi, I'm watching from Peterborough. Okay.
Hi, Pat.
We'll all come to your house, Pat, for tea. I'm thoroughly enjoying the show. I just wanted to say to Lesley that her teaching style is excellent and so easy to follow. Thank you, Pat. You're very, very sweet. I really appreciate that.
It's a sign in the studio.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
hear, hear.
Thank you. Christine, not the one that we've got here because I didn't see her actually nip out and do one. Dear all, I like that. Thoroughly enjoying the show. I'm learning a lot and I'm hooked. Love the idea of using photos, got my creative juices going overtime. Thank you, Christine, for taking time out to actually contact us. That's
brilliant.
Absolutely wonderful. And Hilary, hi Dave, and you lovely ladies. Oh, it's a long time since I've been called a lovely lady. Thank you. This is my first craft-along experience, and what a delight it is. I'm picking up lots of tips and inspiration. I've been a bit nervous of stamping, but watching this demo is inspiring me greatly. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Hilary. Keep crafting too.
Fabulous.
Thank you. That's absolutely wonderful.
Great response this afternoon, so thank you ever so much. It means a lot to everybody.
Yours is
So,
beautiful.
Yeah, it's taken a long time to put these together, and I think the reason I was nervous about it was because it's as I say, I want you to have a good experience at home. So knowing that we actually are hitting the spot is just fantastic. Thank you
this has
so
got to
much.
be one of the biggest workshops ever known, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's a national workshop, isn't it?
it is a national workshop. Okay, so have we done some colouring and some in now? Okay, so now choose in your harvest. You've actually got 2 sentiments. You've gone which says, I think, grow with the sunshine, and then you've got the other largest phrase, which is
Flowers are
yes, flowers.
nature's way of saying hello.
Yes, that's the one.
Okay.
I think I'll go with that one.
Stamps by Sue, words by me.
Sorry.
So again, onto your acrylic block. Now, if you're not sure about stamping, try either draw a line on your copy paper and line up your stamps through that, or if you're good by eye, just pop it on. Okay, and if you get it square on the block and square your block up to when you're stamping, you should always get it straight.
Right.
Okay, so back to our first black ink that we used. Now you've done it diagonally, Dave, so now you've got a choice of putting where you're going to put your sentiment.
I reckon top right, like a postage stamp.
That sounds good. I
Yeah?
like that.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to put mine bottom right.
Now, do you normally put the stamp to the ink pad or the ink pad to the stamp?
Ink
or doesn't
pad
it really
to the
matter?
stamp.
Ink pad to the
You
stamp.
have more control over
Right.
that way, because if you get ink on the edges of your stamp, which you sometimes do,
Yeah,
it's more likely you'll get it because you introduced the stamp to the ink pad because you're slightly heavier handed.
got you.
But even if you do, you can just take your finger, or you can take a wipe or a cloth and just wipe it over. Oh, lovely, Steve-O. Thank you. Steve-O has just had a hot chocolate for his break. Ooh. Can I
Pushing
have
the
a hot
boat out,
chocolate,
Steve-O, or
please?
what?
Oh gosh, that's just. And there we go. And there's mine. That's mine finished. Now, how quick? Although obviously it's a bit longer because we're talking about it here too. But doesn't that make a lovely, quick little card
And each one will be different because the backgrounds can never be exactly the same. So there's Leslie's.
There's mine.
There's mine. My wonky one. There you go.
I like that. There's
all right,
nothing
yeah.
wrong with that at all.
Yay. And then we've got Christine's, which is looking just as lovely.
Look at that, that's gorgeous. And you
And
see,
then-
everybody's ink is also spread differently too.
And then Kim's.
Right to the
Finally.
end.
There we go.
That's it. Yeah, that's
it.
fair and perfect. Lovely.
Ah,
I like that.
you.
Yes, I do. Lovely. Well
yeah.
done.
I think in the gallery they're saying you're the winner.
Oh, okay.
We're all winners.
Everybody is
Everybody's
this
a winner.
afternoon. Everybody is this afternoon. Okay, so hopefully now we need to. This is still probably yes, it's still slightly damp. My ink paint is, and it will be at home if you use certain ones. So shall we move on to doing our other tag?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so go back to
The one that we had the
other
paper on,
tag.
yeah?
No. That's the second tag
Oh,
that
right.
you've got in the box that you've done nothing to.
Okay.
You all need one now because you've all used yours.
Oh, yes.
Not a problem. I have them in the drawer. Just bear with me. She says, can't find anything now. Panic. There we go. Dave, can you take
Yep.
and pass? That's it.
Thank you.
The next one.
Thank you.
So this is for the other tag that you have in your box, okay? And we're going to take the plastic off,
Or just one side or both sides?
just one side. Always just take off one side. You always work on one side and you reveal at the end.
Right.
And that way you can't get any of the medium or paint or scratch or anything on it while you're working on it.
So we're going to have all these reveals as the finale, are we?
All at the end, yes. We hope. Okay.
Come on.
Does it know when to play, Dave?
Hang on a minute.
The craft knife makes a big difference.
Does it?
Just don't poke yourself.
You know me so well, obviously. People don't normally trust me with craft knives.
I'm not normally good with a craft knife.
Now this time you're going to ink up both stamps when you're ready. Have you still? Do you want to swap, Dave, and I'll take yours?
Oh, go on.
Oh,
No,
you've
I've
got it. You've got it.
Got it. There we go. Excellent.
So this time, okay, we're going to put our stamps on the block at the same time.
Which stamps
Any
are we
two?
using?
Yeah, use the poppy and the bluebell.
Oh, the open or the closed one?
Sorry,
The open or the closed?
the open.
solid
ones.
rather,
The
or
open. The open.
the
ones.
open ones.
Yeah, yeah.
So the poppy and the...
And the poppy and the bluebell.
Okay.
Okay. And what I'd like you to do is to pop them kind of off the edge. The way of doing, the reason for doing it this way is to make sure that you're going to stamp off the edge. You're going to have a gap in the middle because you're going to fill that in separately.
Okay. Yep.
So have them both off the edge.
Okay.
Can you show?
Okay. Can I show that like that?
Oh, so we're doing it on...
You're doing no.
On the acrylic block,
On
not on the tag.
No, on the acrylic block.
I wonder what
why
you would do.
why am I sitting here this afternoon as the tutor? I do not know. Let's start
Okay,
that.
so on the acrylic block, not on the tag.
acrylic- No,
Okay.
on the tag, okay. Leave a space in the middle,
Yeah.
okay, slightly off the edge, and make sure that it does, because the idea is that you're actually going to, yeah, that's fine. Just if you want to test it, put your block over the edge, and you should have most of the poppy on and a little bit of the bluebells,
Right.
okay?
Is that right? Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, move your poppy in a little bit more, Dave.
Okay.
That's it. Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Right. Ink them up again. We need to use our archival or our stays on because remember we're using we've got a non-porous surface.
Now,
Oh, tap Vanessa's
been on. She says, Lesley is really great at teaching. You're explaining everything really well.
Oh, thank you very much, Vanessa Tap.
That will be your name from
Well,
now
that
on.
will be her
and
name.
unfortunately, that is. I don't blame me. There's another lady on this counter who made it her
It's
fault.
all Kim's fault.
So, having done the Vanessa Tap on both stamps.
Yep.
Okay. Now then, take this and introduce it to your... So you should be able to get the poppy. Okay, now bear in mind you've turned it over, so your poppy, in my case, my poppy was at the top here. Can we see on the overhead there? My poppy was at the top.
Yep.
When I turn it over, it's there. So make sure that that is on
Majority
tag,
of the
on
poppy.
tag, yes, and then the other bit will just be on the edge. And try and go near the bottom so you don't have any gaps at the bottoms for where the stamps, the stalks look as if they're hanging in midair.
Okay, so near the bottom. Okay.
Okay. And again, gentle press down, both top and bottom. Now the reason for doing it this way is it evens out your stamp, so you don't get rocking.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You may find sometimes you get rocking on stamps.
Yes.
And that's because there isn't an even there and it wants to rock or tilt. So that even if you don't use the other stamp, you can always put another stamp on at the side and not ink it up and just use it for balance.
Should I not have inked the second
Oh,
stamp?
yeah, no, you do,
right.
yes.
Right.
But what I'm saying is if you just wanted one stamp and you found it was rocking, if you put a stabiliser somewhere a bit further off, that will help you to
Right.
balance it up. So
I've only
now,
got a hint of the bluebell there.
Oh, yeah. You have got a hint of a
I've got a
bluebell.
hint of a bluebell on that side.
There's nothing wrong with that, Dave.
Okay, right.
Nothing wrong with you just having a hint of a bluebell. So let's just clean those both off. Okay. And we're now going to go for the other one, which is the buttercup, which is the other open stamp. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want the open version of it?
Yes, the open version. No, we're using all the open versions of these. Okay.
Lovely.
So we're placing that in the middle.
Okay.
Okay.
So ink that one up as well.
Yep.
I can't believe where the time's going.
When you're having fun, it flies. This isn't work, is it?
No, this isn't. No, this is fun.
Okay.
Okay. And now that one we're going to place in between the other two. And again, remember to keep your stalk slightly off the edge, then you don't have anything floating around. And don't squish the stalk down too much, otherwise it splays out and you get a very heavy line. So, okay, hold on to your tag and lift, and hopefully now you have a nice little collection of flowers
Yes.
on your tag.
Yep.
Right, straight onto heating with your heat tool now, so just waft it across to make sure it dries.
Oh, that's been quite bold, isn't it? The one in the middle. Yeah.
Yes.
Really dark.
It stays on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit different.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that you may notice from us to compare to what you're doing. Depending on what ink pad you're using, and again, it also depends on juiciness, back to what I was saying. So if you've got an ink pad that's newer than possibly some of ours here, you will get a denser, more strong design. Alternatively, stays on will actually stop stronger than archival.
Right. So you changed, did you, between the two types
No.
of things? Oh, no.
No, I did. Yes,
did.
I did.
You did.
I realised I picked up the wrong one.
So don't overheat, otherwise what will happen is this will actually bow.
Yeah.
So don't overheat it. Okay. Now again, don't forget the test photocopy or paper next to your side. Make sure that that's
Yeah,
and
that's
mine's
fine.
just dry. So this is where we start doing some painting. So
Okay.
you want both your blue and your red or orange red here, okay? And you want to put, should I say a dollop?
Want your orange back, Dave?
Yeah, go on. Thank you.
So let's say about that size, okay? And also of the blue,
That's a lovely orange.
isn't it?
Mm.
Okay.
Ooh.
So you want one of each colours onto your mat.
Still got the cover on it.
Oh, use the other one, Dave. That
Oh,
one
yeah.
hasn't got a cover on it. That's fine. Okay.
Yep.
Now your finest brush that you had in the set, and I've put mine down, so there it is. Yeah, the finest brush in the set. Okay, and you're not adding any water to this. You're going to go raw, neat paint.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And you're going to start with the red, and you're going to do all the flowers, all the little flower heads in red. Doesn't matter which flowers they are, all of those are going to be done in the red
Okay. Or orange.
or orange, and just tap on. It doesn't matter
So
that
you go over the lines.
You
then.
go
You're
over the
just,
lines.
You're
Yeah.
basically blocking.
you're blocking it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter if you don't get quite to the edges, because again that's all part and parcel of this free, what I call free painting. Okay.
It surprisingly goes. I didn't think acrylic paint would go onto
Yes,
the
it does.
plastic very well, but it does. It covers really
thank you.
nicely.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'll continue to let you paint while I talk. Okay, a load more emails. Thank you so much. You don't know how much this means to all of us for actually doing this, because this was a concept that was actually by Michelle, who's our chief buyer here, and she came up with this concept, and thanks to her and her Chanda, we're able to do it. So it's great to know that we're doing it right. Hi, Lesley, Dave, and the two lovely ladies. There we go. Beaming smiles here. Thank you. I just want to tell you how awesome this is. You are doing a fabulous job. Thank you very much, Karen. It is so nice for those of us that can't attend your class in the UK. I get to have my class with the experts while sitting in my craft room in Florida.
Oh, wow.
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 You can always come out.
If you'd like us to come at any time and give you a one-to-one. So happy you're doing this. Have a wonderful day, everyone. And that's Karen Lombardo from Florida. Thank you so much, Karen. Lady called Chris, thank you. Hello, Lesley and Dave. What an idyllic Sunday afternoon. Feet up, watching crafting. I'm learning so much today, and all this for free. Hope to see many more craft-alongs. Keep up the good work. Love her, Chanda, from Chris, and she's from Chesterfield. Thank you so much again.
Thanks, Chris. Lovely.
Brilliant, isn't it? Doreen. Oh, hello, Doreen. Hi, Lesley, Dave, Christine, Kim, and David. Everybody.
Oh, it's your Sunday best night.
Yes. Having a brilliant craft along, such a worthwhile investment. Thank you very much, Doreen. That's very sweet of you. Terry. Okay, hi, Terry. Hiya. This is to, I just wanted to let you know, I love the craft-alongs. I'm crafting along with you all, but I'm recording it as well. My crafting today is preparing for my first blog post as a Hochanda blog ambassador.
Oh, wow.
How wonderful is that, Terry? We'll all have to look out for that. And I plan to re-watch later to actually craft along using the Chocolate Baroque kit. Thanks for the inspiration and fun. Looking forward to many more craft-alongs and loads of kisses. Thank you very much, and hearts. Thank you, Terry. We look forward to seeing that on the Hochanda blog. Okay, Joan, thank you very much. Hi all. Loving the show, enjoying all the tips while doing decoupage. Thanks all the team. Let's have more. Joan. I love that. Thank you, Joan. Brilliant to know that you're all doing something a lot and we're doing something too. That really means such a lot to all of us who've invested time and wanted to bring you a crafting experience. It's gone quiet at my table because everybody's painting.
This is, do you know something? This is, hands up, my first ever workshop.
Is it?
I've never been to a workshop before. I've done, obviously, like the exhibitions at NEC, but I've never been to a workshop before, so...
And?
I love it.
Good.
Oh, well, Dave, you could, as you live in here, as you're here in Peterborough, you could come along to our monthly workshop that we have in Peterborough.
Oh, okay. What day is that? then?
It's the last Saturday of every month. It's Sazzlecraft Workshop, so we do it once a month.
If I'm
come
not
along.
home in Bournemouth, I can...
No, you come along. We'll welcome you.
Yeah, cool.
Lesley, are we doing the leaves a different colour? Is it
Yes,
everything going
use
to
the,
be red?
use the blue or the blue-green to do the leaves.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Thank you.
And you don't have to do all the leaves. Don't try doing the stalks, just do the leaves because the stalks are very thin.
Okay.
And with thicker paint, you're going to have difficulty in trying to make that actually work. It's different, it's more forgiving on a watercolour card, but on the acrylic block, the acrylic paint will actually show up as being just a blob.
Right.
So just do the actual petals and flower heads and then do the leaves.
The leaves are in blue.
Yes. And I know it sounds strange, but you know what, as I've said before, when you're stamping, it's you are being given an image for you to create your own art. So if you want blue trees and purple leaves, or if you want, you know, fantastic rainbow trees and blue flowers, it doesn't matter. It's your art, it's your creation, and it's unique to you.
And if you think about some of the most famous works of art of all time, they're not conventional, are they, a lot of them?
No. So, you know, this it's time, you've got to stamp, and at the end of the day, as I keep saying, in most cases, it's a piece of paper.
I'm a big fan of pop art.
Yes.
I love that, the kind of bright colours.
Yeah,
and
I love bright colours, full stop. But I find painting very relaxing. How about you, Kim?
It takes you off into a world all that's just your little bubble, doesn't it? So
yeah, absolutely.
that and colouring.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's nice that as adults we're now being permission to colour again.
Yeah.
How about you, Christine?
Very much. I mean, I'm not a good painter per se in traditional art, but I can enjoy doing it my way using stamps and other sort of colour mediums.
Yeah. There aren't really any rules. There are some things that you have to kind of, you can't mix with this, with that, and, and they're not rules as such, they're just ways to get the best out of your actual product. But other than that, it's just as much as you want to make it.
See, I blame her Chanda for my love of bright colours and my shirts. Everyone who knows me thinks I'm having a midlife crisis, but I blame her Chanda. It's
I think you look fabulous. I've known you for a few years now, Dave, and I do like you in the brighter shirts. I think they really suit you.
it's cheerful, that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
Right.
I think at the end of the day that it's whatever makes us happy.
Yeah.
And if this makes you happy and you enjoy it and you enjoy bright colours, equally, if you don't want bright colours and you prefer to have something that's more subdued, there's nothing wrong with that either. Pastels are also beautiful. As I say, it's all your art. How are we doing, everybody?
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Getting there slowly.
Oh wow, that looks so good.
I've stopped to read emails, so I'm kind of behind everybody else, but that's fine because we don't have a problem with that. Excuse me. Wrong ones.
Blue leaves are odd, but
I
it
think
kind of works.
Yes, it works.
Yeah.
In a weird way, but yeah.
It works nicely.
Nearly matches your shirt.
What would thanks? What would you two normally be doing on a Sunday afternoon then?
Crafting.
Would you?
Yeah.
Or watching us and
Watching you crafting, or perhaps sewing, because I've been learning to quilt and sew courtesy of some of the companies who come here. So that's been a great experience too.
Oh, yeah. You should come down more often.
It would be lovely. It would be lovely.
Whereas I might be at work or crafting, depends what schedule I'm on. So
Oh, okay, you
I
work
possibly,
weekends, do you?
I
Right.
work weekends.
So, how are we doing? How are you doing at home?
Yes,
are
let
you
us know.
Are you still following us? Have you gone to sleep now? You thought, no, that's enough? Or are you still crafting away? Whatever it is you're doing, we'd love to.
We've only got 30 minutes on the 2 hours left.
30 minutes? Wow, we're not going to I had loads of things planned, so there would be plenty of time. Chris, the director, said, have you got enough to fill 2 hours? And at the point before that, you thought, yes, I have. And then he said that, and I thought, have I? And looking at this, we haven't covered a quarter of what we were hoping to do.
Oh, really? You have to do another one then.
Oh, gosh.
And any craft-alongs you want to see in the future, email in and let us know so that we know what you want, because we can do a craft-along on any subject, can't we?
Yes,
Soft crafts,
yeah.
painting, power text, that sort of thing, MDF, anything like that.
Yeah. We can only ask the question.
Yeah. Jane Aldridge from Aldridge Crafts. Hello, Jane. She should be making show samples, but she's watching this instead.
Oh, yes, Jane brings jewellery to her Chanda.
Yes, she does.
Do you know what? It is so nice to know that what I call our professionals and presenters are actually watching us. I think that's very nice to know that they're watching us.
Yes.
How's everybody doing? I'm behind everybody else.
I'm almost
I'm
there.
there, I think. I don't
But
want to,
I have.
I don't want to spoil
also
it by
have
touching it again.
an excuse because I stopped to read out emails.
Christine was complimenting me on my colours. I'll just hold this up for you. There we are. Look.
That's gorgeous. I love it.
Oh, the orange looks brilliant.
It's
Doesn't
great, isn't
it?
it?
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
colour.
It's really lovely.
Yeah. And the beauty about it is, as I say, everything goes with everything else.
I take it, Lesley, watercolour wouldn't work on
No,
acrylic.
No, the water it'll just repel.
Ripple, yeah.
So you won't get a water. You could if you had included with another medium. So if you mixed it in with a matte medium, etc., but that would take away the watercolour of it.
And what about things like alcohol inks or alcohol pens?
Alcohol pens will work on here because it's a non-porous surface.
Okay.
So they would work.
Alcohol
Do you use those
inks?
quite a lot?
Yes, yes, I love alcohol inks.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm thinking of actually possibly trying to do a colouring show with alcohol inks and things like that in the future, but we'll have to wait and see.
But if you have an issue with like the smell of things like alcohol pens and so on, acrylic paints there's no smell to
No,
it
there's
at all.
no,
is there?
there's no
No,
smell to these at all.
Nothing at all.
They don't mention
And
that because my mother does. that's it.
Literally, you don't need to use it. I've got far too much on here. You really only need the smallest amount on your craft sheet because a little goes a long way. Now, if you find that these would be drying up, mine's starting to dry up here, if I'd used the matte medium, okay, that would have stopped that and it would have kept it fluid.
Right.
and it doesn't dry, it keeps it extended. So it's also good to use as an extender if you are using a jelly plate, because it's extending.
Okay.
Yeah, but it also makes sure you do clean it off quickly, but it does work as an extender.
Now, Donna is saying, yay, let's carry on another 2 hours, please.
Oh, that
4-hour craft along.
That would, yeah, oh yeah, okay.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? Chris has just said there's enough biscuits.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to have my biscuits.
So should we blast it with a heat dryer?
Yes, please. If you
Okay.
now, if you get into that stage, please blast it with a heat gun.
Right.
I'm going to take a mouthful of biscuit.
Shall I also dry off what's left of my blue tag?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's not much moisture left on there, but look. Now we are going to announce the winner, remember, of the A5 stamps that we're going to give away to one of you that's bought something in the show. We'll do that before the end of the show at 4 o'clock. Oh, we can show you the stamps actually. This is what you could be winning if you bought something in this hour. We've got a picture we can show you, I think. There it is. So those Chocolate Baroque A5 stamps could be yours. Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that White House?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The one's seashore scenes and the other one is the butterfly, and at this distance I can't see which one it is. I think it's harebell butterfly.
What are they worth? About £30 between the two?
They're £16.99 each, so
30,
just under
£34.
£34 for the two. Now what you may find is that the blue, Dave's is okay. If you've put the blue on quite thick, then it'll have done in one coat. If it's a bit translucent, at this stage I would suggest that you just go over it again if you want to.
Right.
Very quickly.
Mine is a little bit translucent
Yeah,
in
just
places.
dab onto it.
Okay.
I'm going to leave mine translucent because I'm conscious also of us moving along. But just add a little bit more to that if you wish to. And again, just double test. I think I need to probably just give mine a little bit more of a... Oh no. It's a quick, very, very quick little finger test. And the reason you use your little finger is because you actually can exert least pressure with your little finger.
Oh.
If
The one
you
that
use
stick
any...
up when you're having a cup of tea.
Yes. If you use any other finger, you exert more pressure, so you're more likely to disturb it and make a blotch.
I never
If
knew
you
that.
use your little finger, if you test it, you actually don't put as much pressure on with your little finger.
Right.
And that way you can test if it's dry.
Right.
Okay?
Just wafting it again, drying it off.
Now the one thing we've got about this Craftalong kit is you've got, as you can see, we've only, at this moment in time, I don't think we've used a tenth of what's in the box.
No.
You're going to have so much left to play with and so much left to do. Okay, Sylvia, have you done that?
I think so. Yeah.
Cool. How are you doing, Chris? You
Just
just
have a
need to
quick
waft
dry
yours
off.
off a bit.
Yeah,
How about
and
you,
that's
Kim?
it.
Just needs to be a quick dry.
Chris has got a turbo engine.
Sorry about this.
We didn't test it for sound before we started this afternoon. And Kim has got the opposite. It sounds as though he's asleep. It's so quiet.
In comparison to that one, yeah.
Okay.
Very powerful one, that one.
If you're already dry, if your paint's already dry, now start thinking about choosing another paper, the pattern paper that goes with what you've done. So if you've used that Dave has done, which has got the orangey shades in
Yep.
it, use the orangey type one for the background.
Yeah.
If, like us, you've used the more of the red blue one, then it's really good. You could use one of the, and what I want you to use is the edge one, not the patterned one, the edge, yes.
Yeah.
So you'll see in these sets that I've designed, you've got one full pattern paper, you've got one with it's got a patterned edge, and then you've got a matching matte and layering paper as well in the plain colour. So I'm going to go for, if I can find it in here somewhere, I want the red.
This one, yeah.
Yes. I'm choosing that one, okay?
Yeah.
Now then, this time we're going to use our decoupage glue. Okay? Which we can share, Dave.
Okay, great.
So I'll let you put... So you're going to put, again, a thin coat over the back of your... Oh, sorry, before we do that, one quick thing, sorry, before we do. If you wish to, we have a word in the kit, the Edgy Edges set of stamps that you've got, which are the DL ones. There are typewriter keys in here. There's a beautiful collage swirl here. And then there's also the word journal. If you want to put the word journal in, now would be the time to do it. Alternatively, if you wanted to give it a little bit more contrast, you could stamp the keys over the top of where you are now. If you wanted to stamp
I think I'll do that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
If you want to stamp those over, please feel free to do so. So yours are on the other side, Dave.
Okay.
Journal or the keys over the
So you can either stamp the word journal, which is on the same as the edges, or the typewriter letters you could use
As a background, yeah?
as a background. Just do it now, bearing in mind that you're actually going to use this here as an edge. Think about doing it to the opposite edge. So if you turn it over, okay,
It has to be down this edge. Yeah.
it has to be down the opposite edge. So that's my edge turned over. So this edge here, that one is where I would stamp the keys.
So
the
over
opposite
here,
edge.
that
yes.
side.
Yes, the
Right.
opposite edge.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, does that make sense to
Yep.
everybody?
Using archival again.
Using the archival again.
Yep.
Anytime you're going to be stamping on this type of surface, whether it be a ceramic tile, because you can stamp on ceramic tiles, you can stamp on your acrylic tags, anything that's non-porous, and that includes glossy card and photo card and things like that. Any non-porous surface always requires either an archival or a state on ink.
Lovely. It's like cake.
So I'm going to use the word journal on mine.
Right.
So I'm going to be slightly different. And I'm going to stamp mine there. Now, can I just say something? I'm just going to stop Dave there. If you've got, do you want to take that away so you don't get it marked? You've got a long stamp. It's much easier. Do you remember me when I do this on? It's always easier to stamp a long stamp horizontally than it is to try and do it vertically.
Right.
If you try and do it vertically, you don't get such an even pressure.
Good tip.
Okay?
Yep.
So I'm going to just do the word journal. What have you chosen to do, Kim?
I've got the
You've got the
typewriter
alphabet
set.
as well.
You've got a
Yeah.
typewriter set, and so have you. So everybody's going for the typewriter
So
set.
we're going down one side on that, aren't
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use the word journal on mine. So let's just have a quick. This is going to be.
Oh, I like.
You like.
Mm.
This is where you're creating depth and layers. And I've put journal on mine.
It's like
Okay.
Murder, She Wrote.
Yes. What you will find is you will actually get that the reverse way on, which makes it even more interesting because you're going to be looking through it. It's going to be back to front,
Right.
but I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No.
I like
Clean
the
off.
idea of it. Yes, clean that off. I quite like the idea of having something a little bit quirky. If you didn't want it back to front, then you would stamp on the front of your acrylic tag.
Yeah.
Okay? So bear in mind this is almost like a mirror. If you stamp anything with words on one way, if you turn it over, they're going to be the reverse.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
So, our last step with this is to take our decoupage and our brush. Okay. And we're going to, again, a thin coat of the
Does that need
decoupage.
to be dry?
Yes, sorry, yes. If you've just stamped your word onto
it.
your tag as opposed to onto your paper, then it is going to be just it's going to need to be dried
Apologies
off.
again.
Yeah. If you wanted your image to show immediately, in other words, not in reverse, stamp it onto the actual paper. That way you'll see it through. Okay? So now then we
Do the old
put
test again.
yes. And if that's,
Learning.
that's dry. So then
Yep.
put the glue in the middle, like that, the
Thank you.
decoupage.
You don't need
Okay.
a huge
yeah.
amount, Chris.
If you haven't got the decoupage glue, any normal PVA glue will be absolutely fine for this. And you're just going to brush a thin coat. Again, remember, go from bottom to top. So any PVA glue, because all you're wanting to do is you just, if you have any cosmic shimmer glue, anything like that, that will work too. So that will paint on. Okay.
Quite thin, Lesley.
Yes. And then take your tag and face down onto your paper so that it's actually, you've got the covered side up over, and place it into your paper like so.
Do you need to be right on the edge of the paper?
No, don't be.
Okay.
Just have a little bit of the edge, like we did before, have a
Okay.
little bit of a gap it's much easier to trim it off, because if it goes askew at that point, this glue grabs fairly quickly.
Could you sand it off with a sanding block?
You can sand with it, but the trouble with it being acrylic, if your sanding block slips, you're liable to scratch it.
Oh yeah, good point.
Not like MDF.
No.
You're actually better off with an emery board.
Okay.
So if you've got a fine emery board or a nail, fine paper nail file, that will less damage it than a sanding block
Right,
would.
got you.
Okay. So it doesn't. So press again. Pick it up and press around the edges, because that's where you're going to want the seal. Okay. And this is already. If you pressed into it, you shouldn't have any bubbles on the back.
Right.
Okay. Take your scissors and trim round it. And trim off the
Leaving
excess.
what, a couple of mil? Or?
No, trim all the way around, right
to
to the edge.
Right.
Right to the edge. And it's amazing how you will get it to the edge. These have been made and profiled so that you actually get a nice clean finish. And if you're not getting a clean finish, again, just go run it back with your scissors, or as I say, little emery board will just take off that excess.
Actually, it is very easy to get a good edge, I think, on this.
Yes, because it's the way they've been finished.
Right.
They, I have to say, these were designed by or put together by myself and very kindly made and cut for us by Tando Creative.
Oh, great.
They supplied me with all of these tags, so you know you've got good quality there.
We've got just over a quarter of an hour left.
Oh, good grief, we've got 2 things to do. Gosh, where has the time gone? Okay, so hopefully if we've got to this stage, are we all finished? How are we doing?
Yeah.
Okay. And this is where we are going to do the big reveal.
Oh,
And just wait for Kim, because Kim's... Are you all right, Kim? I don't want to...
Yeah, I should have had a big pair of scissors.
Do you want to use my huge...
I think I'm there.
Are you?
I can always. Oh, there we go.
Do you want my bit going? Is you okay?
No, I think. Yeah, oh, yeah. No, it's all right. I can.
Right, so
tidy it
now
up later.
we take away our...
the protective film for the reveal.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh dear, we could be here some time again.
oh wow. I love it.
Excuse the noise, lady.
Great noise.
And there, I have lost my talk back, by the way, everybody. So I don't know whether my
Have
batteries
you
run
come
dead.
unplugged?
I don't know, no.
Oh.
It's just gone dead. So,
We'll get you sorted.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic, yeah.
so there we go. So there's mine on the overhead. I'll
Yeah.
keep my hands to myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's mine. If I just hold that to the camera there. There we go.
Hey!
Look at that.
That looks
And I
brilliant.
don't think
I
I don't
it's
think
great.
it look,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with having a reverse typewriter. I just think it adds to interest.
Yeah, absolutely.
All stamps too.
Oh, I love that. I'm very impressed.
Absolutely
Okay.
fabulous, yeah.
This is Christine and Kim's.
Yeah.
There's Christine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully at home we can see, and we hopefully you'll post
That way.
yours either onto our Chanda page or onto
Fabulous,
Chocolate Baroque,
And
so
if
we
you-
can actually see
Yeah.
what you've been creating, because everybody's going to look different.
If you've got a picture that you can send in to us ASAP before the end of the show and we can show what you've just done with us, that would be fantastic. Don't know if we've got enough time to do that or not, but hopefully we will have. I love it.
Okay.
That's beautiful.
Really
Yeah,
amazing.
absolutely super.
And all you need now is a little punch to put a punch through. Just excuse me. No, I still haven't got anything.
Oh.
Oh yes, I have now. Oh God! Yes.
Now it's loud. Now it's too loud. Your eyes just went like that.
Oh God, that was exciting. So
I think you
hopefully,
had a blockage. I think that's
I
what
think
it
that's
was.
something.
Technical
So
name.
I hope we've all got something that.
Yeah.
And as you can see, the fact that we've got the different coloured paints doesn't matter because it all tones in with the
I
papers.
love the orange.
How would you do the hole? How would
You just
tidy
use
that?
a punch.
Just a punch. Okay.
Or if you haven't got that, use a pokey tool and poke from the back to the front, and then just use a pencil or even the back of a paintbrush just to push it back through.
You happy with yours?
Absolutely
Brilliant.
delighted.
They're great, aren't they?
Brilliant.
Okay.
I'm glad I used the typewriter. I like that.
Yes, it does make a difference, doesn't it? It's, and as I say, if you don't like the reverse look of the typewriter, just stamp it on the front. Okay.
I'll put it down the front.
Right. I'm conscious that we've
showing.
got 2 things to get into now. Okay.
Okay. Right.
We haven't used any of the transfers out the box, but I wanted, if I get a chance quickly at the end, I'll explain how that works. So, can we go back now to the one that we did with our paper right at the very beginning?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we should have one of these.
This one.
There's yours,
Yep.
Dave.
Still
Okay.
a bit. I can feel that it's still
so
damp.
now,
It feels still damp. But
what is yours still a bit damp?
Yeah.
it feels a bit damp, but it could just be cold.
Yeah, mine feels a bit damp as well, a little bit.
Should be okay. Do you want to just waff it over again with a? Actually, waff it over with a heat gun. Now, if yours feels a bit damp at home, you don't have to do this at this stage now. Just watch what we're doing and wait until yours is drier.
Off you go, Christine. Put your foot down.
Turbojet Christine over there.
She's off to Edinburgh.
We'll be there in no time.
Get along faster, can we?
So, I don't know if that feels any better, everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So as I said, just watch, if you're a bit concerned, don't worry about it. Leave it to dry a little bit longer and you can do this afterwards. Take your spritzer bottle, okay, and you're going to soak the back of the paper. And I
Literally
mean
soak it.
soak it. And what should happen is you should start seeing some of the print almost coming through.
Oh, yeah.
You see?
Was there a need for us to dry it then before we wetted
So
it?
yes, that's only to dry the sealant underneath.
Oh, I see. Right.
It's to make sure that that's dry, otherwise it'll come away from it.
Right.
Okay, so hopefully, right, okay. Right, now then there's two ways of doing this. Don't take an abrasive, so don't take a sanding block or abrasive. Either take an old rag, an old dishcloth, tea towel, your finger's the best, or a dry baby wipe, not a wet one. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to start rubbing away at the back of the paper.
It's like when you rub glue off your fingers.
Yes, and you're taking the white off. And don't be afraid, you won't introduce too much water. And just start rubbing in one way and then work up the tag.
This is so satisfying. I tell you what, if you could post your finished projects on our Facebook page, that would be fantastic. That's going to be the easiest
We'd love
way.
to see that.
Because obviously we're going to get inundated with pictures in the gallery, which we haven't got that much time to actually.
No, we haven't now to show them, unfortunately.
So go to Hachanda's Facebook page and share them there. That'd be great.
So,
And I'll show you mine, and we'll all show each other's, won't we,
yes.
on Facebook later.
So, this takes a little bit of time.
It's great, though. It's so satisfying.
It is very... Now, this is thicker paper because this is our 160... Our papers are printed on our 160 GSM Luxury Smooth paper. So, it takes a bit longer.
It's like peeling glue off.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you go on with that because I'm going to just move mine out the way and you can show yours because I do have a finished one because I want to talk you through something else that I can put on the overhead if that's all right with our director Chris. Right, you have in your kit transfers. Now all these, as I say, have been printed off. They're all legal to use. There's no problem with copyright. And
Bashing Christine.
okay, and what I've got here now is, this is the tag that I have made with it using our craft card. Okay, can we see that okay? So this is the craft card that's in your kit.
Yeah.
And I've taken the boys on the bicycles, and what I do is with the white ones, if I can just pinch this one from here, okay, cut round them as close as you can. I don't mean in the middle here. If I put this down, I cut all the way around the outside here and left just a little bit of an edging, white edging around the heads of the boys on the bicycles, okay? And then I treated it exactly the same as we did when we started this with our printed papers. So a layer onto the craft card and a layer onto the actual transfer itself.
Is that laser printed then?
These are laser printed, yeah.
Right.
Then let it dry. Then a second coat onto the craft card and also onto the transfer. Lay that down onto here and let it dry the way we have done, okay? And then use exactly the same principle that we have done here, which is wet the back and rub the white paper off. Now just the white, you might be tempted to try and rub off other things. Don't worry about it. It may be slightly milky on a craft card, but it will actually disappear, as you can see. Because what I've done after that is I've taken out of the journal that you have, I'm going to take this off this ring because I want to show you something here too. Okay. So using the words from the journal today, I have taken my acrylic block and I've laid it over the top of my already finished tag or semi-finished tag. And then I've taken my words, okay, And I have popped them on the tag, bearing in mind I want them the opposite way around. So I have popped them on the tag, like so, in the place where I'm going to fit in here, so you can't overstamp. So I've laid out all my words, so I've done that one, and I did, now I'm trying to find the words quickly, which I can't see upside down.
What are you looking for?
There's a word on there, laughter, there it is. So the laughter went on the top, like so, and then friends went, I lost friends as well. There we go.
How you two
So the
getting
friends went just down like
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the daily dose of fun went at the side like so, and then I filled in with the relax and love, inked them all up at the same time, and then stamped them like so. And that way you're not going to overstamp, miss the tag. You're using the acrylic block as your guide to see where you're going to lay your stamps. Once that was dry, I took some of the matte medium, one coat over the top, and that seals in both the stamping and your transfer.
Love it. Oh, before we do any more, I've got a winner for our fantastic prize draw this afternoon. Those of you that
Excellent.
bought something in this 2-hour show, we're in the draw. The winner is Susan Holmes from... Do we know where Susan's from?
She's sitting in the green room.
Oh wow!
Is she? She's in the green room.
That's so, yeah, that's so in the green room.
No, Sue's actually Kim's friend. When the ladies found out that they were winners, I suggested, Christine said, could you bring a husband? I said yes. And I said to Kim, if you wanted to bring a friend, if it is Susan in the green room, well done.
Congratulations. Yeah.
And if it isn't, it's Susan somewhere else, well done also.
Brilliant. You've got those 2 A5 stamp sheets on the way, so congratulations to you.
How are we doing?
We're doing all right, aren't
That's
we?
done, that's fine.
Yeah.
You finished?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Okay. Right.
It's really satisfying doing
Isn't
that.
it? Now, one of the things that, so we've got to the stage where you've done that, okay?
Yep.
Now what you want to do is that will actually go over the top of any of the coloured papers if you want it to. But the other thing you can do is to take your decoupage or any other gun PVA glue, okay? Paint it over, again, a thin coat over the back, which you've taken the paper off. Then I've added glitter.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Okay, so can we see that on the overhead? I've added very fine sparkle.
Yeah.
Okay,
So is that the front or the back?
that's the back.
Right.
Still the back. We're still working on the back.
Yeah.
We haven't time to do it now, but you could do that, okay? Then, once that's dry, make sure you put another matte medium over the top, again, another coat of the matte medium or your decoupage glue, just to seal it, because the glitter will shed.
Right.
Then when you turn it over and you do the reveal, you have that. I don't know whether they can see this now, the glitter on that.
Is it time for us to do our reveal then?
Yes. So do you want to take your paper off now?
So that's what it looks like at the moment, because we've still got the cover on, as you have at home as well. There we are, look. So that's the back, that's the front. Now let me see if I can get... There we go, try and peel the protective cover off. Oh, come on.
Thank you.
How are we doing?
coming.
We've got one more thing to do, Dave, so you're all right.
Okay, here we go. Right, ready?
Okay.
I'm all.
Wow.
Wow.
Doesn't that
Hey.
look absolutely beautiful?
Isn't that fab?
And if you want to take one of your papers and put it behind, okay, it just takes on a different colour. So if you now put that behind, Dave, look at that.
Ah,
So you've got a different colour look, and there's mine, look, with the glitter behind it.
see, all the crew are surprised how professional my results have been.
Oh, beautiful.
But you see now, now Christine has put hers behind the orange,
Yeah,
totally different
love it.
look again.
And just decoupage glue that on
And
with you.
decoupage
Yeah.
glue that on,
Right.
yes.
Isn't it? What
Yeah.
a difference.
And then Kim again has put hers next, and Kim has put hers onto the blue.
Love it.
Yeah.
And doesn't that look just fantastic?
So,
Okay, so we have 4 minutes.
4
So
minutes.
can
Now
we go back to these
let's
tags?
go back
that
to our
we've done?
painted tag,
Okay,
yeah.
right. Right. Are they still wet? Oh no, Dave's has been stood in some by mistake. It will rub off, Dave.
it will rub off, okay.
So what you need to do now is it's on the paper, so it doesn't matter. You can pull it.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what we'll do is now pull your paper from your covering from the front of your tag.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is if you've
on
done
the other side.
the opposite one. It's
Oh.
as if you had just the paint and you
like
didn't
it.
have the decoupage. You pull this off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now you may need to put some paper up to show you. So it's slightly thin, but that's okay because again, you could put paper behind that.
You could.
It's thin, okay.
Oh, that's
There we
lovely.
are.
Yeah, yeah,
Love it.
This is mine down here. Look. Mine is bright red here.
Could I go over and with another coat if I
You
wanted
could
it
go
darker?
yes, if you wanted to go dark, you could still at this stage you haven't sealed it, so you can still go over with another coat.
I might do that now.
And we have the crackle, which we haven't talked about in here. The one-step crackle. Can you see where I've put my crackle on already here at the bottom? There, look. Okay. Right. So you can either leave that as it is. You could take some antiquing cream and rub into it. You could take a wash. Look, can you see the crackle in that? There, look how there you
Yeah,
go.
it's lovely. Really good effect.
Now then, so you take a wash of a dark black or dark grey acrylic paint and let it seep into the actual cracks. You could use your gold paint and seep it into the cracks, or you could use the blue-green and seep it in and you'd have a contrast, which is what I've done here on that one. So there, that's what happens, look, when you seep paint into the actual crackle.
Look at that. What great techniques we've learned today.
Yeah,
It's been
Okay.
fantastic.
Finally, other things I can show you I've done. Right, this one is taking your tag, okay, putting some paper from behind, so I've put the paper from behind so I can write on it. This is a coat of gesso, and once it's dry I've stamped the edgy stamp and the typewriter stamp on here, and you can water down your acrylics that are in the actual kit, and you can paint a wash over this so you can tint it if you wish to. This one here is painting from behind, from the back again, as we did earlier on with this one, and I have taken some glitter paste and a stencil and stenciled onto the front. So bear in mind you can actually use both the back and front.
You want the orange? Yep.
Okay.
We've literally got 1 minute left in the show. I've got
And
another.
last one is just to use all the stamps, look, onto some of your card, cut it out to the shape of your tag, and that becomes your tag itself.
Well, that is it for our
Gosh,
only
where's that
second
gone?
ever Craftalong. But we're going to stay on for another 2 hours.
Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you've had a fantastic afternoon. I know I certainly have.
Yeah, I'll
Kim,
do mine at home.
Christine, can I just say to you, thank you so much for travelling and
thank
being
you for
part of
inviting
it.
us.
Dave, you've been a fantastic student.
I've loved every minute of it, I really have. So I hope you
And
have at home as
thank
well.
you to the gallery because you've done a fantastic job.
And we want to see all your efforts on Facebook.
Absolutely,
so post
yes.
them to our Facebook page,
Just because
share them
it's
with everybody
over,
else.
please carry on sharing because we want to see exactly what you've done. Thank you so much for letting me into your homes this afternoon. I hope you've had a really, really good time. We've had fun.
We have.
And
there
we're
will be
going to
more
now go and have a
Craftalongs in
proper
the
cup
future.
of tea and biscuits.
Absolutely. Suggest what
so
Craftalongs
much.
you'd like to see.